Cloud Dance turns head. Only that pair of purple eyes. Abnormal, clear, strange look to the end of the night. At the end of the night, when he came into contact with the cloud-dancing purple pupil, his body trembled. But they were not as attracted as those people in the cave before. On the contrary, after a little shaking, they were relieved. Cloud Dance, so your eyes are purple? At the end of the night, Young seemed to be surprised, staring at the cloud-dancing eyes. Purple? Did she show her eyes again? Cloud Dance along, but very quickly is a tiny squint to see eye, that night and central one eye. She wasn't taken away by her eyes? Although she didn't intend to capture the soul, her purple pupils had a strange suction since she came from the cave last time. Can directly capture some low-level strength people. However, at the end of the night, Young was only second class, but it was okay to look at her eyes so directly. It seems that at the end of the night, Young really hit something. However, Yunwoo soon took back her sight. In a blink of an eye, she repressed the purple pupil and changed it into normal black and white eyes. Now her strength control pupil color is not difficult. And the only thing that makes her big and hard is her black and dirty things. The stench is so thick that I can't wash it all day with the water from the small tap in the dormitory. I don't know. With her current strength, can she wash with her own water element just as Yunwoo was meditating? The night's end with his nose covered seemed to suddenly think of something. Just want to reach out to catch the cloud dance, but stiffly in the air. He could only hold his nose and said, Yunwoo, you are going to the square in front of the college. Your fiancé is coming. Now he is blocked by Wu Miner's people. I don't know what happened. He must accept her challenge. That person is already the strength of the second stage. Her fiancé? Is it him? Cloud Dance smell speech under. Eyebrow but slightly wrinkled up. A burst of meditation down. However, it is also very fast. Ben, sitting on the bed, immediately got up, turned around and entered the small bathroom of the dormitory. At the end of the night, Young thought that she had to wait for a long time, but the smell in the room was too smelly, so she wanted to wait at the door. But as soon as she stepped out of the door, Yunwoo was already dry behind her. A clean yellow school uniform, ordinary badge, the whole body to restore that sick pale clean. But at the end of the night, what's going on? This just a black thing. Is it really Cloud Dance? How just entered the bathroom? This has not a moment. On a clean walkout. Even if I change clothes, I'm afraid it's not so fast, right? At the end of the night, when Young was a little stupefied, Yunwoo reached out and patted her on the shoulder. Don't be silly, let's go. At the end of the night, Young Dun reflected that although he was curious about Cloud Dance, but he didn't ask much. Instead, he quickly led the way and said, I also heard people discussing that you and the three princes of Longziguo were engaged by the emperor. After seeing him stopped by that man, I came to inform you immediately. By the way, let's go to the tutor first. Those people gathered in the square. Wu Miner and Yi Jing are there. They must be on purpose. When we find the director, they dare not bully you. As soon as we get out of the dormitory, at the end of the night, Young is ready to take Yunwoo to the Educational Administration building. However, Yunwoo turned around and walked quickly towards the square at the gate. Cloud Dance. The main entrance square of the college. It was noon, and the sun was very hot. But at this time on the square there was an unusual noise. A lively atmosphere enveloped the square. When Yunwoo and Yamoying arrived at the square, it already seemed quite boiling here. At a glance, there were a lot of people. At this moment, it should be lunchtime. But at this time, people in this square seemed to gather more and more. But the reason is that the whole Zhou dynasty, the most wasteful hero, everyone in the Zhou dynasty knows, the son of Long from the state of Longsu, Longsan, although he is the third prince of Longziguo. However, when he was very young, he was sent to the Zhou dynasty to exchange protons. To put it mildly, it is proton. To put it mildly, it is the hostage that the two countries are pressing on each other. What's more, it's an ugly and useless person whose whole body is useless. It is estimated that even if the Dragon 3 returns to Longziguo in the future, they will still have to live outside the palace. Therefore, no one will ever call him the third prince of the dragon, which is the name of the son of the dragon. However, as soon as he entered the college today, he just attracted such a big scene. which should be thanks to the two noble girls. As soon as he got started, he became a sex wolf, after being hit by a woman, yelling to challenge him. To tell you the truth, this makes Dragon 3 a little difficult. However, when the corner of the eye swept to the clouds in a hurry, the tight corners of the mouth under the black dosha finally outlined a touch of evil radiance. That pair of eyes dote on the meaning of drowning, no longer hidden. But also at this time, that stands on the other side, with 5-minute suns stand together of night quiet, Canthus also swept to cloud dance of come. Suddenly he reached out and touched Wu Minor. She's coming. Wu Minor hears the sound, and looks up at the cloud dance. When I saw the clouds dancing, the mocking smile at the bottom of my eyes suddenly deepened. What are you doing? He won't accept your challenge. You can just greet him with your fist. Anyway, in full view of the public, everyone can see that he insults you. It's self-defense if you do it. See that 5-minute sun's words fall down. She follows behind of several younger brother similar student, immediately coaxed to go. Just do it. Do it. Do it now. One man opened his mouth, 2 people began to coax, and 3 people got together. Soon, the onlooker and the onlooker started to follow the coaxing. In the face of such a scene, the line of sight under the black veil of Dragon 3 is still on the little woman he is thinking about. The one standing in front of Longsan is a pretty woman, but she is absolutely not a beauty. After glancing at Dragon 3 with disdain, a sneer rose from the corner of his mouth. I'm sure you don't dare to do it, that is to say, don't blame me for maiming you. With a sneer, the woman immediately took off the fighting spirit of the second-class green class. As soon as she clenched her fist and flashed her figure, she attacked the Dragon 3 in black. The momentum of the rapid, as if there is really a kind of, to the Dragon 3 to beat the rhythm. However, the Dragon 3, standing in the same place did not move, as if waiting for the woman's attack. On the other side, at the end of the night, standing with Yunwu, he was very anxious to see this scene. Cloud dance, what should we do? Do something about it. What to do? It seems that she doesn't have to think about what she can do. Because since this man has come, he must have enough reasons to show up. And she said that when she saw him again, it was to be able to pierce him for days. However, at this time, Yunwu really wanted to see how he dealt with it. That little thing is really going to watch the play. Under the black veil, a low voice came out from the man whose evil spirit raised his mouth. However, at the moment of his words, the woman who just came with a fist. At the moment of attack on Dragon 3, his face suddenly changed, and all his movements stiffened in full view of the public. Next second, poof, a mouthful of blood red, suddenly spurted blood out. Blood splashed on the black gauze of Dragon 3, and the smell of blood diffused in the air. All the noisy people around seemed to be silent at that moment. It was completely silent, as if you could hear the needle drop. All the onlookers were stunned to see the woman who suddenly stiffened all her movements, and sprayed a mouthful of blood. What's going on? What's going on? Even the 5-minute sun with night static, all narrow mouth son of stare at that circumstance. Obviously, both of them didn't see clearly how this happened. The woman seemed to be in a daze. What's the matter? Yejing frowned at the woman who was still stiff and drank. However, as soon as she cheered, the woman leaned back, pounced and fell to the ground, her eyes staring straight. And between the breath, but no breath. Seeing this, everyone was stunned. Half a ring. In the side of a student carefully forward for a while, suddenly face changed. No gas, dead she died. A stuttering and trembling words, directly in the square of people swing open, immediately aroused a road of startled voice. Dead. How did you die? That's the second-order strength. In the face of a waste, it's dead for no reason without shaking its fist? What's going on? See 5-minute sun and night static after hearing that words. Is also the facial expression suddenly changed. Dead. How did she die? Who moved the hand? No way. She's second class. How can she die suddenly? 2 people full of eyes don't believe, immediately also come forward, go to explore that ground double eyes stare big girl to explore hand. However, when the pulse of the woman's life could not be felt, the sense of amazement finally surged in their eyes. How possible? However, when the 5 Minor and Yejing are relieved from their consternation, two people are almost tacit understanding, directly locked the line of sight in that has been standing to move has not moved a trace of Dragon 3 body. You killed her, and you killed her in the college without any challenge in tutor. The night was still and cold, and my eyes narrowed. No matter who you are, if you kill someone, you have to pay for your life. 5-Minute Sun deep cold voice chilly of say. In fact, although they were shocked at the bottom of their hearts. However, I would never believe that it was Long San who killed the people with the second-level strength. How can a waste that cannot be discarded kill a person with second-order strength? Naturally, they are dancing to the clouds. Although Yejing disdains Yunwu, she doesn't have much prejudice. However, Wu Min'er takes Yunwu as her eyesore as soon as she enters the college. Although other aspects of cloud dance are zero waste, it is an indisputable fact that she has 5 attributes. Just a few days into school, it became a thorn in her heart. If you don't pull her out, it will make her feel very uncomfortable. Today, just turning to this side, I saw such a sudden figure just entering the college. After a little inquiry, I found out that it was the third son of Dragon, who was known by all of the Zhou dynasty, and was the fiancé who had made an engagement with Yunwu. Hearing this news, Wu Min'er naturally catches the chance. Since Yunwu has been ignoring her provocation, she will make a fool of her future man. By the way, the whole college will see what a joke this so-called waste with waste is. Even if, because of the tutor's care, she can't move the clouds, then this joke is absolutely enough to make her feel happy. But not only Yunwu, who was provoked and didn't move, but also the strange trash who had just entered the college, was indifferent to them. In the end, Wu Min'er naturally let the little brother, who just received by his side, directly bump into the past and pick things up. But I didn't expect that. I don't know what happened. The little brother, who just raised his fist, just hung up. However, just after the 5-Minor and Yejing's gloomy words fall, a voice with a faint smile comes. Who killed? Then, I saw the clouds dancing slowly out of the crowd. All people's eyes immediately also looked at the cloud, but those eyes are dyed with a look of disdain. See cloud dance finally come out. 5-Minute Sun that haughty eyes have a sneer. Everyone saw, the person on the ground died, if not he killed, who can? Cloud dance slowly outlined the corner of his mouth. In full view of the audience, there are not 1,000 pairs of eyes, there are hundreds of eyes, who saw my fiancé kill her with a knife. But if Miss Five insists, I don't mind asking the director to come out. Hearing Cloud Dance's words, Wu Min'er's face is very ugly. Among all the freshmen present, who doesn't know that the backstage of Cloud Dance is the tutor director? I've been in school for a few days, but I haven't even had a class, so my tutor turned a blind eye. Can 5-Minute Sun at this time, but suddenly think of what suddenly haha laughs. Is that right? Do you think I'm scared when you invite the tutor? Haha, waste is waste. Even if I have a low IQ, I'm afraid you don't know. In the college, students can do something. Even if I kill you first and then beat you all, no one will investigate you because you are waste. It's just waste? Hearing that 5-Minute Sun's words, not only Cloud Dance corner of mouth smile deepened. Even the black dosha under the Dragon 3. Hook the lips also seems to rise a few points, however, that pair of black eyes but cold meaning swept by. Is it? Cloud Dance slowly walked forward. Light Cold said 2 words. As soon as he got close, Lung San's body came forward, almost instinctively, and put his hand around her waist. Disappeared. Where have you been this month? Low magnetic voice, gently in the cloud ear. He searched for her for a whole month, but he didn't hear from her until a few days ago. A smile flashed from the bottom of my eyes when I heard the words. Is he admitting his identity? In fact, as early as on the way to the college, she began to make some guesses at the bottom of her heart, but in the end, it was in the southern forest that she determined his identity. However, because he never said it, she just didn't know it. I said that when we meet again, we need to do something to break the sky for you. Cloud Dance also answered in a low voice. But her words but let the Dragon 3, that is Dragon Poor Evil, a soft heart. The hand holding her waist tightened a little, and her voice was filled with tenderness. I'm a man, your man. I should hold up for you this day. Cloud Dance slants to head to lift mouth to see him one eye. Across black dough gauze, two people's vision seemed to have no barrier general contact. Are you ready for your business? Cloud Dance asked. Only the east wind. The dragon answers the way in a low voice. In this college too? Yes, Cloud Dance, mouth slightly raised. Since there is a goal, then quickly solve it. Has been dragging is not the way. It's just that following me for a while, I'm afraid it will make you suffer. In this sentence, the heresy of Longqing is very low. Cloud Dance stretched out his hand and brushed his black dosha face. I'm not afraid of it. What do you hide from me? What she was afraid of was never suffering, but that it would happen again. She would rather have two people to eat when she was free than let him be silent again. Long Qingxia's mouth was outlined. Naturally, he reached out and stroked her little hand on his face. When you leave here, I'll tell you everything. Good. The smile on Yunwu's face really blooms. She was sick face, as if for a moment, really in bloom with a touch of brilliance. Looking at this sudden intimate action of the two people, the people on the scene seemed to be in a daze. Are these two waists really a pair? It's a match made in heaven. However, I do not know why, the presence of people to see this scene, the bottom of my heart rose a sense of contempt cannot go. It seems that it's not waste, but even that 5-minute sun and night static all see Zhenglong for a while. But after being stunned, he quickly responded. It seems that you don't believe it. In that case, I'll challenge you now. Do you dare to accept it? If not, don't blame me for attacking you too. 5-minute sun coldly arrogant of stare at Cloud Dance. Quite some Togao Chi Hai say. She has 5 levels of strength. Even if Cloud Dance is 5 attributes of the same body, so what? It's more than enough to deal with such a rubbish as her. Now we can take this opportunity to abolish her completely. She is a member of the 5th generation family. She is also a highly gifted and favored daughter. She was recruited by the dean himself. She doesn't believe it. What can the tutor do with her? Originally, she thought that Yunwu would still be as silent as before, so she could do it directly. But just after the words of Wu Min'er fell, an indifferent voice also brushed in everyone's ears. Well, I'll take your challenge. Cloud Dance raises the mouth of looking at that 5-minute sun. The corner of the mouth slightly rises, looking very harmless. But in the moment that she should descend, unexpectedly inexplicable, let that 5-minute sun can't help but beat a chilly shiver. As if, at that moment, was an extremely dangerous snake python to stare at like. How can a trash make her feel like this? Wu Min'er's face is a little ugly for a moment, but she ignores it soon. A waste is also a waste. What can I worry about? Well, I'll testify to the whole audience now. You've taken my challenge. If you're not careful, you're going to kill yourself. Language just a fall. On the scene of the crowd's surprised eyes, 5-minute sun hand raised, a long sword flying out. The blue fighting spirit, along with the trend, attacked the sword. Blue level talent? She is such an advanced talent for cultivation. No wonder the dean recruited her in person. She looks very powerful. More than fierce, I also heard that she is a firewood dual attribute of the same body, and the strength has reached the 5th level. What? Fire and wood are dual attributes. Isn't she a profession that can cultivate pharmacists, worthy of being a member of the 5th generation family? I saw that at the moment of Wu Min'er's long sword. All the students around me were astonished, and their comments were raised. This makes the smile on Wu Min'er's face deepen a few points. Sword. Wu Min'er cheers. However, Cloud Dance did not move. This makes Wu Min'er feel proud again, disdaining to laugh at him. Shouldn't you, as a young lady of General Yun's military mansion, not even have a sword? See, that 5-minute sun, that words fall. All around discussion voice immediately changed into the voice of a burst of mockery. That's to say, as a general, I don't even have the most basic sword. I dare to come to the college. Ah, that's right. I'd better go back as soon as possible. Don't be a disgrace here. Just like you, even if you stay in the college, you are also a waste. You can become a genius. You feel like you are wise enough to get out of the college. The sound of ridicule is not hidden at all, immediately spread in the square. However, just under this kind of laughter, a figure moves strangely, directly standing face to face with the 5-minner who laughs and raises his mouth. And at that moment, the audience standing in front of them, originally laughing, seemed to be stuck by something. 5-minute sun, that disdain smile. Also at that moment rigid in the corner of the mouth. Open your eyes, not a moment of staring at that close at that pale sick face. I don't need a sword to kill you. What's more, it's just you. Low cold voice, very light like in 5-minute sun ear spreads. At this time, Wu Min'er seems to be in a daze. He just opens his eyes and stares at Yunwu's face. After a close look, Wu Min'er seems to find that under Yunwu's black eyes, there is a pair of purple eyes. There is a strange purple light in the bottom of the eyes, which is very strange. But also in that purple light flash moment, 5-minute sun quickly a draw god of slow over god. His face almost changed at that moment. You are that. The 7 princes are looking for the purple-eyed woman. The 5 Hans around Zhou Feiyu, the 7th prince, are also members of the 5th generation family. Some time ago, in order to find a woman named Wu Feng with purple eyes, the 7 princes asked Wu Han to return to the 5th generation family to look for her. Later, not long after, the queen also searched the country for a woman with a pair of purple eyes. Although I don't know what she looks like, I'm afraid the same girl with purple pupil is the same person. However, what Wu Min'er did not expect was that it was the waste in the present world. Looking at the cloud dance in front of him, Wu Min'er's heart gradually rises with an inexplicable panic. However, before she finished her words, all her voices seemed hoarse and stuck. Open eyes, instantaneous, full of a sense of panic. Because she felt as if she had been strangled by something, but she didn't see Yunwu's hand. Instead, she just looked at her like that. The strange power seemed to be able to grasp her neck. Breathing, gradually out of breath. Wu Min'er's face is more and more red. What she did to her, but at this time of situation, see in other people's eyes, but still think is 5-minute sun and angry, is with cloud dance and big eyes stare small eyes. Until 5-minute sun whole face suppress red, eyes explosion bulge, red silk full of the whole eyeball terror of time. All around the students, finally aware of a trace of the wrong. What's the matter? Don't you want to fight? Why are you staring at me? I don't know, but the atmosphere doesn't seem right. Yes, I don't think it's right. That. The voice of people around, but suddenly in the 5-minute sun himself fly out of the figure, all to stop. One by one, I really don't understand what's going on. However, only the night quiet, which is not far away from Wu Min'er's side, but her eyes are startled and stare big, and the whole person stares at the cloud dance like stiff. It's her. It's the hands and feet of cloud dancing. She is not a waste. Just now, she sensed her breath unconsciously, which almost made her feel the horror of being shot out. What's going on? Who can tell me what's going on? Isn't that the 9th miss of the Cloud family, born with 0 talent, even more sick and unable to cultivate? Can just that breath, can absolutely reach, let her incomparably frightened of the situation. How strong is it? She couldn't feel it at all. Bang! The dust rose. See only that oneself fly out of 5-minute sun. The whole person seemed to be paralyzed general. The unusual distress lie on the ground. And her whole person all fainted. No one can see who's doing it. At this time everyone is confused. However, some smart people gradually lock their eyes on Yunwu. Cloud Dance doesn't care about those eyes, but at this time, slightly raises her eyes and locks her eyes on Yejing. Are you going to challenge me too? Light voice stop in other people's ears like a very sick tone. But at that moment, Yejing felt that he was sweating all over. The inexplicable panic in his heart seemed to be irrepressible. No. 2 words, the sound is not the same. But every time you see me, it seems that you want to fight with me? Why not today? No, I really don't. In the future, when I meet you, I will leave you far away. I don't dare anymore. Do you think that's okay? Without waiting for Yunwu to finish his speech, Yejing rushed to open his mouth. However, as 2 P's of her words were blocked before she was registered several days ago, the late-night central authorities were exactly the same as she was asking her for help. Feng Shui turns, but unexpectedly it turns so fast. At the end of the night, standing on the other side, Yang looked at the scene as if he were a little silly. That inexplicable low voice of night quiet. Really, or night home, that towering miss? And what are you waiting for here? Cloud Dance raises eyes, voice suddenly cold sink. Yejing hears the sound and glances at the 5-minor who faints on the ground. He doesn't care about anything. He turns around and runs away towards the college. The 5-minor is abandoned. Yes, it's completely abandoned. Just now, at the moment when Wu Minor was shot out, Yejing saw the Cloud Dance with her own eyes, and slapped her hand on the dantian of Wu Minor's abdomen. Then with my own ears, I heard that 5-minor's body, like dantian, was broken. Yejing doesn't know why, but she can see the action of Yunwu clearly, but she knows that she is warning her. Never a person will let her feel so terrible panic. It's just that what she doesn't understand. That Cloud Dance, unexpectedly has this kind of terror strength, why also disguise as the trash? You little thing, your hand is more and more fierce, but I like it. At the moment when Dragon Qingxie came up, the evil voice with a trace of smile rang out in her ear. Yunwu looked at him and said with a light smile, I'm more polite than you can smash people's internal organs with your hand. Yes, just now the first woman who suddenly vomited blood and died for no reason was just killed by the man in front of her. It seems that this man's means have always been bloody. Hearing the words of Cloud Dance, Long Qingxie couldn't help laughing. However, his eyes suddenly looked up, looked at the mid-air. Someone is coming. What are you going to do? At this time, the square was still in full view of the public. It was even more shocked by Yuanli. Such a situation will probably not be invisible to those who come from afar. It's too weak to enter the inner court. The Cloud dances to hook up the corner of the mouth to say. However, in the bottom of her eyes, there was a strange smile. Dragon Qing evil see this. The corner of the mouth that wipe evil spirit smile arc. Even if under the black veil is that ferocious burning face, also inexplicably give a kind of evil feeling. In the twinkling of an eye, see a gray robe of Liuzi old man came quickly. As soon as he landed, he looked at the two figures on the ground. When he felt the death and injury, his face changed slightly. What's the matter? If you don't have a good lunch, who is making trouble here? The low and dignified voice spread with a sense of dignity. At that time, several tutors came quickly. When you look at the students gathered in the square, and the two students lying on the ground, especially when you find that they are dead and injured, their faces also change. Who moved the hand? Tutor line of sight. In a moment incomparably dignified toward all around the student swept past. And the students around, under the sight, all stepped back slightly. Then they pointed to Yunwu and Longqingxi. Although they don't know whether they did it or not. However, people are in front of them, suddenly like this. Even if they are not, they can only be scapegoats in this situation. However, when the present tutors looked along the line of sight, and saw the clouds dancing with the dragon in black, their brows wrinkled. 2 waists, injured a 5th level top student, and a 2nd level middle student? Is it possible? At that moment, almost all the tutors present thought it was absolutely impossible. However, the willow sun along the line of sight. See Cloud dance with her side of the dragon, poor evil. Eyebrows suddenly frown up. Is that the girl? Yunwu, you and the new students around you, come here. Liuzi suddenly spoke majestically to Chaoyan Dance. Then he waved to Chaoyan Dance. Cloud Dance looked at the willow, smile light yang, did not make a sound, with the dragon to go toward the willow. To tell you the truth, did you do it? No, they really didn't do it. They just tried a little bit. Liuzi squinted at Yunwu and said, You all come with me. Luzi said, in front of many students, with Cloud Dance and Dragon, toward the Educational Administration building. The 3 left behind, so that the presence of a few instructors, some cannot believe. What's the matter? The director has never been the most severe. In such a serious case of death and injury, he took people away without handling it properly. Yes, it's the first time I've seen the director so openly favoritism, since I've been to the college for many years. Now what? Can't we deal with this? The dean passed the customs last night. I think we'd better talk to the dean. In the eyes of many students, several tutors peeped at each other and discussed in a low voice. However, in the dean's room, at this time, Liuzi has brought both Yunwu and Longqingxi. However, after letting Longqingxi wait outside, he leads Yunwu into the room. Is she the girl you are talking about? The young man in the room is writing and marking something. When he looks up at the clouds, his eyes seem to flash a touch of light. Lucy nodded and said respectfully, "That's the girl." I saw. After Chima put down his pen, he stood up from the table and walked towards Yunwoo. However, as soon as it came near, the released mental force was detected by Chaoyun dance. Whooshing peak. When that breath attacked the cage cloud dance, the cloud dance heart suddenly had a bottom. However, at that moment it seemed that I felt something, and my eyes were burning like an instant. This wench, unexpectedly in front of him, still can so hide own strength fluctuation? Can't make him feel her real strength? This is definitely the first person he met in the college. A teenage girl, with such ability, is really extraordinary. When Yunwoo felt his spiritual power, she didn't resist it, but let her explore it generously. This man, since he is the dean of this college, naturally needs to show a little foundation to him. Little girl, how old are you? Chima looks at Yunwoo with a smile, and his eyes are deep. 15. 15? At the age of 15 he has such strength. This, I'm afraid, can't be described by genius. Chima's smiling face is kind, just like a kind uncle looking at Yunwoo before abducting and selling children. Little girl, I'm the dean of the Samurai Academy. My name is Chima. If you like, you can be my student directly. Maybe my friend. This attitude of praying for Mo. Let the willow on one side for one lung. Be friends? Although he is a young man in his early 30s, he is over 100 years old. Only when he has reached a certain level of cultivation, his appearance can be restored to a young one. Now it's too inappropriate for a girl to make friends with him. However, it seems that the change of the dean's attitude directly proves that the girl in front of her is definitely not simple. Cloud Dance raised mouth to see him one eye, the corner of the mouth slightly young. The dean adores, however, do the friend of the dean can't dare to be. Don't dare? With this girl's talent and strength, what else can she be? However, after hearing the words, Chima couldn't help looking at her more inexplicably. Good half-ring just suddenly asked wench, I hear you are Cloud Big General Army Mansion 9 young lady? The 9th miss of the Cloud family was born to be a waste and ill. It is estimated that no one in the whole Zhou dynasty is aware of it. Well, Yunwoo looks at him as if he wants to see what he means by asking this question. Pray Mo smell speech. Looking at Cloud Dance of the eye ground flashed a touch of undercurrent, seemed very deep. But immediately, he seemed to hear something pleasant, and immediately laughed. This looks at the dean who laughs suddenly, Cloud Dance frowns, some inexplicable. But at the same time, a strange feeling arose in her heart. That is, it seemed that however, it didn't wait for Yunwoo to meditate. As soon as he stopped laughing, he turned around and sat down at his desk. Then he heard his voice. Come on, girl. What do you want to do when you come into the college? Cloud Dance silently looked at that Pray Mo a few eyes, pour also direct way. Enter inside college. It's no surprise to hear the words. It's not difficult for you to enter the internal college, but you also need to act according to the rules. You can't let others think that you are such a waste to enter the internal college backstage, which will have a bad impact on the college. If she really had such a lucky heart, it would be a dream. After the news came out, the whole college was talking and mocking. No matter where Cloud Dance goes, it seems that it can become the first peep, and her sight is everywhere. How does it feel to be famous? The dragon who walks slowly along the path with Cloud Dance suddenly asks with a faint smile. Cloud Dance mouth corner outlines. Want to know or you try? Smell speech. Long Qing evil low voice smile Can't help but stretch out a hand of embrace up her waist. You a small thing, can tease for husband. There is only one place this time. How can you get into the inner college? Yunwoo looks at him. The Dongfeng I want doesn't need to enter the inner college. It just needs an opportunity. Long Qingxia hugged her waist and walked forward slowly. As for the sight around, the two parties had no general feeling. Timing? At the beginning he said what he was waiting for, but he didn't say what it was. Don't look at me like this. My husband is a normal man. Just as the Cloud dances thoughtfully, a man's deep voice suddenly comes from his ear. Cloud dance along. immediately slow over a god. White he one eye then drew back the line of sight. However, instead of asking him that question, he asked, "If I didn't find out, aren't you ready to tell me?" What Yunwu said is naturally his identity as Dragon 3. Long Xiao Long San Long Qingxia. In fact, they all have the same surname, and many things can be guessed together. But when she first saw Dragon 3, she decided that he was not a disguise and had been ignored. It was not until she saw this man's camouflage through the southern Warcraft forest that she realized it later. Sometimes, I really think this man's mind and means are too clever. It's too enigmatic, to say the least. Even now, she feels that she can't really see through him. What does the follow-up action want to do? However, let her heart. Is not such a dangerous man? Well, because it's not yet. Long Qingxia looks at the cloud dance, but he doesn't hide his original intention. Because Dragon Poor Evil is the Dragon 3 things, which also involves a long story. He wanted to wait until the time came, and when everything came naturally, he would tell her everything. However, I didn't expect that the little woman was so smart that she had already seen through his identity. Fortunately, the woman didn't seem to be angry. What are you going to do next? After you enter the inner college, I will leave for a while. Don't forget what you told me. When I come back, I will marry you. At that time, I will let the whole mainland know that you are my wife. In fact, in addition to waiting for the right time, it was also because of her. Now that she's okay, he's relieved. Smell speech. Cloud Dance smile on the face deepened a few minutes. His wife? Then she'll wait for him to marry her with his true identity. In a few days, the campaign was ready. However, Yunwu, a freshman and waste, also participated in such an election contest, and became the most innovative existence in the whole college. The students of the whole college are also the objects of watching good plays. It's early this morning. The students of the whole peripheral college were not in class, but gathered in the big square of the college. When Yunwu and Long Qingxia came to the square, the atmosphere of the scene already seemed quite boiling. At a glance, the head of the same school uniform was black. Even if there are not 3,000 or 4,000 students, there are at least 2,000. With such a large number of students, at least 2/10 of them come to compete for a place in the college. So we can see how competitive this is. However, at this time, the square is divided into 5 challenge arenas. On both sides of the 5 challenge arenas, there are a row of tables. That should be the instructor's arena. It takes a lot of time to compete in 5 arenas, even if hundreds of people take turns. No wonder the competition time is 3 days. However, when the Cloud Dance and Dragon Qingxia appeared, the audience, who were still talking and laughing, suddenly stopped. A line of sight swept to her body. Is that Miss Yunjiajio? I'm so sick and weak that I dare to come. With backstage it's different. Yes, I just heard the freshmen say that the backstage workers are so above board, but there is only Miss Yunjiajio. Yunwu glanced at the people around him. He didn't seem to hear the irony in their words. He passed them directly. Then, take a seat in the competition personnel area, near the challenge arena. Although Long Qingxia was not a member of the competition, he was also a god and directly sat on the empty seat beside her. Too trash, just come to the college by a little concern. What else can I look like? That is, if I meet her on the stage later, I won't teach her a good lesson. Cloud Dance that ignore their action. Let those export sarcastic several people. Face some ugly said. The words were not hidden at all. It was obvious that they were deliberately said to Yunwu. The flies here are very noisy. Wait a minute, don't be too lenient. One side of the Dragon Qing evil, mouth outline evil spirit whispered. It's not good to kill people. Cloud Dance light smile way. However, from the moment he sat down, he looked at a male student in the competition opposite him. Haha, if you stare at that man like this again, I'm afraid it will really kill you. Long Qingxia suddenly came forward in a low voice. The bloody tone of evil spirit made Yunwu have no choice but to glance at him. However, the curvature of the corner of the mouth has deepened a bit. Vinegar jar. With this man's ability, how can he not feel the strange smell of the male student? It's estimated that any disguise can't cover up the unique flavor of the beast men. But for their own women so serious look at other men. a man is not very comfortable in the heart. For a while, under the gaze of all the students, Lu Zi, the tutor and director of the whole college, came from the other side. When all the tutors sat down together, Lu Zi's majestic voice went to the whole square. Today, it's the day for the competition to enter the college. Except for the freshmen who just entered the college, all the students present should know the rules clearly. I won't talk any more nonsense. Let's just start. Inner college is the goal of all external students, which represents not only the glory, but also the place where they can learn more powerful skills and strength. Although this is only a quota, it is enough for the competitors to fight for it with all their strength. As soon as the words fell, Liu Zi looked at one of the tutors beside him. I saw that the tutor immediately nodded with a smile, walked into the table, and took out a bamboo tube with lots of bamboo sticks in it. There's only one quota, so we should try our best when we've finished. Now, according to the old rules, draw lots to decide the opponent. For the students who have signed up before, start from the right position, and first come up with 10 people to draw lots. Hearing Lu Zi's words, the 10 students in the front row on the right stood up. Then they went out one after another, each taking a bamboo stick from the bamboo tube in the hand of the tutor. There are 5 challenge arenas here. If you get the number, you will be regarded as an opponent. Let's start from the challenge arena. Seeing that 10 people had finished drawing lots, the tutor pointed to the 5 challenge arena roads behind him. The old students understand the rules. In particular, when they competed for admission to the college in the first 2 months, many of them were still competitors. Now it just gives them another chance, and they have been enthusiastic for a long time. As soon as the tutor's words fell, 10 figures leaped up quickly, and they started directly when they reached the corresponding number challenge arena. First round, 5. When the students in the challenge arena started to work, the tutor began to arrange for the next 10 students to prepare for the competition. Just like that, one after another. Finally, an hour later, it was Cloud Dance's turn. Yunwu looks at the bamboo stick in his hand, which says 5, which means that he is in the 5th arena. At this time, the 2 students in the challenge arena had already won and lost, so she went directly to the number 5 challenge arena. However, when her figure stepped on the number 5 challenge arena, she was quietly watching the students around the competition, and it seemed that there were a lot of low voices. That trash, she really dares to go on stage. No one will be lenient in this competition. She is really not afraid of death. Just after she came on stage, she saw a chubby figure coming up the stairs on the other side. When he saw the figure, Yunwu could not help but pick up the eyebrows. It's you? Cloud Dance is looking at that to go up to challenge arena and stand in the night and center opposite to oneself. In recent days, because of the arrival of Dragon's evil spirit, it seems that at the end of the night, Yang is not in front of and behind him. However, I didn't expect that she would join the competition. My young lady told me that I must enter the internal college. I'll try it when I have a chance today, but I didn't expect that the first opponent is you. At the end of the night, Yang wants to cry without tears. Before, after seeing that one died and one injured in the square, she had guessed in her heart that the world's considered waste Miss Nine had been hiding her strength. She even if also hidden some strength, but I'm afraid she is not her opponent. It's just unexpected that her opponent in the first round of draw was her, which made her feel helpless. However, with all the ballots drawn, naturally it is impossible to abstain in that way. This is also an opportunity in any case. Cloud Dance stares at her. From her that eyes seem to really see a silk to want to cry without tears of sincerity, but still to her mouth said, I need that quota so won't let you. At the end of the night, Yang Wenyan looked at her with some resentment in his eyes. But soon the corner of his mouth rose slightly. If you can say that, it means that you admit that I am your friend, but I also need the quota, and I won't let you. Just when they looked at each other in this way, the tutor below saw that all the 10 people were on the stage, and then also waved his hand and said, Let's go. As soon as the teacher's cheers fell, the atmosphere of the whole square seemed to boil suddenly. Because this is the last one, as long as after this one, it means that we can enter the second round. What's more, at this time, There was also the waist on stage, and everyone was waiting to see how she was thrown down. Several people in the challenge arena, in the teacher's voice, without any hesitation, immediately attacked together, suddenly fierce. I just broke the 6th level these 2 days. Cloud dance, you should be more careful. At the beginning of the competition, Yang grinned at the end of the night. Almost at that moment, she seemed to see her chubby body, suddenly folded up a lot, as if the whole person had lost a lot of weight. Then, as soon as she stepped, she was like a quick wild leopard. She quickly and sensitively rushed to the clouds. At the beginning of the 6th stage? At her age, she broke through the 6th level, but it was definitely a talent, even better than that of Wu Min'er. But she hides her strength and enters with second-order strength? Why? Looking at the end of the night, Cloud Dance can't help picking eyebrows. However, at this time, at the end of the night, Yang was also close to his body. At the moment of his body's meal, his slightly chubby fist attacked the Cloud Dance with a rather rapid speed. Fighting. Feel the boxing style at the end of the night, with the familiar routine. Cloud Dance is also a little surprised. I didn't expect that there would be such martial arts in this strange world, but it didn't seem to pose any threat to her. Because close combat is one of her strengths. Cloud Dance at this time, the foot slightly a move, side a body, the palm already nimble of lean out. At the speed that people can't catch, it's the fist that came at the end of the night. At the back of her elbow, it's a light and skillful blow. Click. With one hand, the pain nerves of the whole body seem to be lifted up in an instant. At the end of the night, Yang's face turned white, and all his movements seemed to be frozen. And Cloud Dance steps slightly forward, hand just raised, have not followed down, at the end of the night when Yang done mouth. I give up. Lost. What's the matter? I haven't been on stage for a few minutes, and I haven't seen them fight together. How can I give up? Look at the other challenge arena. It's very hot. This is the end of it. In particular, the loser is not the waste people think, but it seems that it is also a freshman? The sight of all the onlookers seemed to be locked in the Cloud Dancing arena at that moment. No. 5 Challenge Arena, Cloud Dance wins. Under the Challenge Arena, the instructor looked at Yunwu in surprise. Although only 2 freshmen participated in the competition, the freshman named Yamoying also reached the 2nd level after all. And the previous Cloud Dance of that palm, seemingly casual and powerless, just patted the elbow at the end of the night, heard a sound of dislocation. Is it all the coincidence of Cloud Dance? For a waste without any accomplishments, how could he be the opponent of the 2nd level warrior? It's a coincidence. Otherwise, it would be incredible. After hearing the announcement of the tutor, all the people on the scene looked at Yunwu with some slightly surprised eyes. However, at this time, I don't know who said it in the crowd. Isn't that chubby freshman always following that trash? I saw at that sound, all around the crowd, suddenly a murmur spread. What? With you? So they're in a group? It turned out to be a group of. No wonder I was defeated as soon as I came to power. I was releasing water. Ah, this is the young lady of General Yun's military mansion. There are still some means. Otherwise, how dare you stand in this arena? Even if it's like this, what if we let her pass the first round? Let's see what she can do next. Around the voice of irony, from the beginning of the low voice, to more and more no taboo spread. Under the voice of those people, the brows of the teachers sitting under the 2 sides of the challenge arena wrinkled. At first, there were some accidents, but when I heard that, I couldn't help thinking from the bottom of my heart that someone was really releasing water on purpose. The tutors all peeped at each other, raised their eyes and looked into the line of sight of Cloud Dance, with a trace of coldness. However, she is the director of the tutor backstage, who dares to say what now? However, for the taunt and sight around him, he shook his head ironically. Waste. If the Cloud Dance in front of us is a waste, it is estimated that the people in the whole mainland of China are the waste plus the waste in the waste. Let go of the water? She also wants to release water, let alone release water. If the Cloud Dance in front of her is really serious, it is estimated that she doesn't even have a chance to do it. Looking at the people around, at the end of the night, the corner of Yang's mouth was cold, and then he turned neatly and left the challenge arena. On her elbow, She can still feel the pain from the elbow to the meridian. Perhaps, the strength of cloud dance is far beyond her imagination. But these people around, but one by one extremely stupid, mouth loudly shouting others waste. But I do not know this person is really against the sky, think how noble they are. What a pity. However, she was suddenly looking forward to their shocked expression when they saw that the trash in their mouth had taken down the inner courtyard quota. Yunwoo didn't pay much attention to the eyes and taunts around. Looking at the other arena, I happened to see the male student. See him, a hand is very sharp, swift and violent. Directly his opponent, a palm blast down the ring, easily to defeat the opponent. The male student looked coldly at the opponent lying on the ground and couldn't get up, and a trace of bloodthirsty passed through his eyes. However, at this time, it seems to be aware of the cloud's eyes toward her. Soon, the corner of his mouth provoked a faint sneer. Yunwoo glanced at him, then withdrew his eyes, turned around and left the challenge arena. The first round is over. And because of the large number of participants, so did not rest, the second round began. Still, the second and third rounds of cloud dance are also in good luck. Each time, one of the weakest cadets is drawn, and they are defeated by the waste of cloud dance. Of course, these good luck and coincidences are all described in the eyes of people around. Because, in any case, they will not believe that a waste can really have much ability. If it's not good luck, it's that she used the background of Cloud Home to let the backstage be released. So, the first day Cloud dance in the eyes of the public like that, it was mediocre good luck, and spent the first day of the competition. When the next day comes, when the Cloud dance again and again in the good luck and coincidence, finally some people seem to find a little bit wrong. However, from head to tail, Cloud dance is still not explosive. They all beat their opponents so blandly that many people are really guessing whether this cloud dance is too lucky. Every time the opponent is the worst, and then he is bribed? However, every student who has been with cloud dance opponents seems to be silly, shocked and silent after the defeat. However, every time Yunwoo came to the stage, the students who had been defeated by her rushed to the front one by one, staring at Yunwoo. But again and again, they didn't seem to see clearly. The challenge arena competition ended so easily. In that way, Yunwoo actually broke into the top 20. From more than 300 people, they entered the top 20? Top 20? What's that definition? No one in the whole college will be confused. However, Cloud Dance did not show too amazing strength. Almost can be said, from the beginning to the end are so weak. Therefore, many people think that Cloud Dance has bribed those students. In addition, the tutors and directors also help. But it is an indisputable fact that Cloud Dance has entered the top 20. The third day. In addition to Cloud Dance, the bottom strength of the 20 students is also level 5. Those are senior students who have been in school for several years and are ready to sprint just to enter the inner college. The atmosphere of the third day is obviously not the atmosphere of the first day. Tension, rigor, depression, anger. It's a drop. When the 19 people sitting in the competition area saw the Cloud Dance still walking side by side with Dragon Qingxia, a group of individual hearts were inexplicably annoyed. Because a waste can be compared with them, and even get into the top 20. In everyone's heart, she must have used some means and some hidden rules. There is only one seat in the inner court, but they have to be shared by a piece of rubbish. They are the proud sons of heaven. How can they feel their chi is smooth? However, in the past 2 days, among the top 20, there are several with good strength. Especially the one named Yihan, and the girl named Kyuluo. They have reached the strength of the middle stage of the 7th stage. It is said that Kyuluo is the daughter of a senior class tutor. She has good talent and grew up in the college. There are still a few, the strength has reached the peak of the 6th level. With the plain battle of Cloud Dance, Yihan and the autumn rain fall, but it is no accident to become the focus of the college. Because from the beginning to the end, as soon as they go to the challenge arena, when they face the opponent, they directly use only one move to defeat the opponent, which is a completely equal victory. Let the students in the college cannot help shouting wonderful, and this is also in the eyes of the students. The real strong should have combat strength. Comparatively speaking, cloud dance, which relies on backstage competition, is too weak. That Yihan, the strength is good. I'm afraid it's going to break through to the later stage of the 7th level. Tutor's seat, senior class tutor, after watching Yihan these 2 days of hand, is very satisfied, nodded. That's his student. In this competition, although the students are fighting for a place in the inner courtyard, in the eyes of the instructors, there is also a comparison. If the student who teaches wins the competition and wins the inner hospital quota, it also represents the teaching strength of the tutor. At this time, a female senior tutor on the other side also had a smile on her face. My girl is not bad either. I see that in the end, there are only 2 of them who want to compete for the quota. Yes, these 2 people really performed very well in the challenge arena. However, what's the matter with that freshman? A tutor next to them asked in a low voice. However, as soon as he inquired, he attracted the attention of many tutors. Who knows, but now the students in the whole college are rumored that the cloud has used the means to bribe the students of the competition. And later, the gossip tutor stopped. However, how can the present tutors not understand? Tutor director, no matter whether the senior tutors are present or not, who dares to gossip, but it's all known in these areas. In the competition area, Long Qingxia, sitting with Yunwu, leans lazily on her and whispers. Today it may not be as easy as the last 2 days. Smell speech, cloud dance smile. 2 days ago is too relaxed, seem to have no meaning, today may be very interesting. At least, there is a person named Yihan who interests her. Long Qingxia's eyes narrowed slightly, and his voice was tinged with a trace of overbearing bloodlust. Since that man is sure to be a member of the beast family, if he's against him, it's okay to end him directly. Cloud Dance young mouth smile. How can not understand this man's mind? But he asked, when will you leave? When you get into inner college. What are you going to do? Recover what was lost more than 10 years ago. Just as Yunwu was chatting with Long Qingxia, a chubby figure came from the crowd behind him. As soon as he arrived, he said directly, Yunwu, I've been in the college for the past 3 years, but it's all up to you. What? Yunwu glanced at her. At the end of the night, Yang explained in a low voice, some of the students have gambled, saying that who among the 20 people can get the quota of the college, I will pawn my home directly to you. Gambling? Smell speech, Cloud Dance eyebrow picked. At the end of the night, Yang immediately said, Yunwu, I heard that the competition on the 3rd day is not a draw, but a draw arranged by all the tutors in advance. Now you really don't know who will be the next opponent? If you win this game, you will be able to enter the top 10. The cloud danced to smile, seem a little indifferent. In fact, in her hands, no matter who these people are, it is not difficult for her. Now, the game finally started. The 3rd day's competition is 20 into 12, 12 into 6, 6 into 3, 3 into 1. It's a competition like this. With that, the master of ceremonies like tutor took out a book. Cloud Dance in grade 1 versus Li Sheng in grade 3. At the beginning of today's first competition, the freshmen's cloud dance played against the 3rd graders at the top of the 6th level. See that tutor's words fall. All people on the scene can't help but be stunned. What's going on? At the beginning of the first game, is it such a fierce fight? In people's eyes, Yunwu versus Li Sheng is like waste versus genius, the difference between mud and cloud. However, people are inexplicably excited. Because finally you can see the scene when the waste is defeated, and finally you can let the depressed people in these 2 days get the most happy ending. In the field these days, the night quiet, who has been hiding in the crowd to watch the war, turns to the place where the cloud dance is. In the fundus of the eye, it is the inexplicable cold and fear. Yes, for Yunwu, her heart is inexplicable hate but fear of complex. Because that waste is not real waste. And these days, the situation is to see her heart that hate to revenge mind, is gradually disappear. Because she can never be her opponent. However, at the end of the night, Yang seemed to be very intimate with Yunwu, which made Yejing very uncomfortable. What's good about that night? But she was a servant in her family, whose status was as low as a dog. Isn't Yunwu the lady of Yunda General's mansion? Why do you want to make friends with such a humble servant, but at the beginning you treat her coldly? Is she not as good as that knight? In fact, she is not as good as the central government at the end of the night. In terms of strength, but in terms of mentality, she falls far behind. At the end of the night, as soon as Yang admitted defeat and stepped down, he talked with Yunwu freely and directly. For such a person, Cloud Dance will not be disgusted. On this point, that knight quiet is doomed to be the loser. But that's not true. After the tutor read the name, the students who were read the name have been on the challenge arena one after another. This top 20, the strength is not bad, absolutely will be more wonderful than the last round. Yunwu naturally got up and went to the challenge arena. Every time the Cloud Dance comes to the stage, the dragon who sits on the chair in the competition area is like watching what art can be appreciated, enjoying with a smile on his face. Of course, because he is still wearing black dosha, no one notices. Cloud Dance, come on. Behind her, at the end of the night, Yang waved her chubby fist and cheered for her with a look of excitement. At this time, the entire square, almost half of the eyes are looking at the cloud. Out of most of the ridicule disdain, there is a small part of that vision is a bit of curiosity and doubt. Although Cloud Dance is a new waist in the legend, it still makes many people feel confused in the past 2 days. From 300 people into the top 20, it seems that even if there is a strong person, it is impossible to buy the opponent's students immediately in the random draw. Unless all the participants are bribed, it is almost impossible. However, almost half of the participants have a good family, and even some of them have a strong background. Even if they are rich and powerful, they are not likely to be bribed. The strength of a general is not enough to buy off all the participants. What if it wasn't bought, but by relying on its own strength to enter the top 20? This confused idea has flashed through many people's minds. However, it seems too incredible on the tutor stage. Those tutors also focused their eyes on Yunwu. In their hearts, they were also a little curious. This Cloud Dance is really lucky for the 3rd grade and 6th grade students. Under the gaze of many eyes, Yunwu stepped onto the challenge arena. When he went to the challenge arena, Lu Zi, who had never opened his mouth, suddenly muttered to his tutor. Immediately the tutor took a note, handed it to the master of ceremonies, and whispered something in his ear. The master of ceremonies took a look at the note in his hand. He frowned slightly and hesitated for a moment. He read it out. After Li Sheng, Yihan will go up. What? Yihan? Hearing the name, the whole square was in a small uproar. However, it seems that because of this replacement, the atmosphere of the scene suddenly entered another inexplicable climax. Yihan. Can Cloud Dance bring good luck to Yihan? Just disdain the person in the line of sight. Suddenly a little more sympathy of saw Cloud Dance one eye. That Yihan don't hand already a hand, can directly beat the person, general beat to lie prone. With that waist, it is estimated that the end will be very miserable. Cloud Dance smell speech, is also tiny zhenglung for a while. However, soon the corner of the mouth is quietly raised a radian. I thought I would compete with him until later. Unexpectedly, I met him in the first game. Yihan is now one of the best candidates in this competition. This person's identity is mysterious, but his talent strength is excellent. When he entered the college, his tutor took a fancy to his talent strength. In just 1 year, he went from grade 1 to grade 3. This shows the level of his talent. That Yihan's senior class tutor, on hearing this replacement, obviously frowned. For Cloud Dance, he obviously don't see eye. Let her with Yihan opponent, like belittled Yihan's identity. Haha, this is really bad luck. The onlookers looking at the Cloud Dance on the challenge arena could not help but gloat. With Yihan's strength, Cloud Dance can only stop here. In particular, many of the students who bought Cloud Dance secretly and failed in the first round were enthusiastic. They felt that they would make a lot of money. Haha, originally, I was going to see if I could meet her as an opponent, and I wanted to teach her a lesson myself. Now it seems that there is no need for this. In the competition area, students waiting for the next competition looked at the Cloud Dance and said with a sneer. After the tutor announced, Yihan quietly came out of the competition area and walked to the challenge arena where Cloud Dance was. This Yihan, the whole person looks pretty good. The figure is quite thin, however that pair of eyes is as sharp as an eagle. It can be seen that this person should be a ruthless character. However, looking at the fluctuation of his whole breath, he seems to have something hidden. The man who can be the gate of beasts should have something hidden. Who the wind blows. Just when Yi Han attacked, Yunwu must have stepped at his feet. At the moment when the corner of his mouth was raised, a fist directly met Yi Han's fist. Click. The sound of a bone colliding with a bone suddenly sounded clear at the scene. What? See, at that moment, many people's eyes, at the same time of a Zhenglong, suddenly surged into the incredible startled color. Are they right? Is it the scene that the waist punches to meet Yi Han, but has never been beaten back? What's going on? That's Yi Han, a senior student in the middle of the 7th stage. Yi Han is also in that second, give Zhenglong for a while, but the pain of tight next, let his face flash a surprised color suddenly. What a powerful force. She is not rubbish at all. What is that? It's the loser cloud dance. What's going on? Isn't she testing all kinds of zeros? The tutors on the tutor stage looked at the scene in surprise, as if they were surprised by the sudden performance of cloud dance. But the willow on the theme was full of joy and whispered, "The girl is finally willing to do it. It seems that we really need to be forced." However, the situation at this time, surprise to surprise but also some confusing, that Yi Han was temporarily replaced by the director of the tutor. Shouldn't he be bought by Yunwu? However, just as the idea was passing through the hearts of all the people, Yunwu moved away, avoiding the fist that Yi Han wanted to attack. This action, finally in full view, everyone can see clearly. The speed was so fast that it almost left a shadow behind. That speed. Even if the people present, it is estimated that few people can have that sensitive moving speed. She unexpectedly dodged the attack of Yi Han, who was in the middle of the 7th level. At present, the whole square is silent for a moment. Is the cloud dance in the challenge arena really the rubbish in the rumor? The avoidance of cloud dance undoubtedly makes Yi Han's eyes cold. She is absolutely not what others say. It is absolutely impossible to avoid the speed of his attack. She has been hiding her strength. Who the hell is she? Yi Han's eyes are filled with a strange color, and his fists are quickly attacked again in the moment of fighting. Shwa. The wind of boxing swept by, and the wind was almost heard by the people present. Cloud Dance looked at the brush-hit fist, mouth slightly raised, step by step at the foot back, that way, as if just in casual retreat. But in other people's eyes but can see, she every step back, there will be a shadow across the general. It was a surprise. All eyes are in the blink of an eye condensed in the body of Cloud Dance. In particular, when they from the Cloud Dance that body a light purple-red fight when flashing. Many people couldn't help but stare, and there was a trace of horror at the bottom of their eyes. Purple level talent is the highest. It's like the purple-red talent light in front of us, but it's never been before. However, what makes people present even more terrifying is that this Cloud Dance is really rubbish. No. She is not only not as useless as the world knows, but also as gifted the light of purplish red? Click. The teacup in Liuzi's hand was directly pinched by him and cracked. His eyes were staring at the Cloud Dance on the challenge arena. In the heart that kind of trembles, like is how also suppresses. Maybe, others don't know, but the light of purplish red talent he knows represents Bang. Just then, under the gaze of many astonished eyes, Yunwu retreated to a certain gap, but suddenly stopped at his feet. But Yi Han, who attacked so quickly, didn't have time to take back his fists. Yunwu directly attacked Yi Han with his fists. See Yi Han's body, in that moment, like a broken kite fly upside down, and finally fell on the ground under the challenge arena. Wow! See Cloud Dance a punch blast fly Yi Han. The surroundings also don't give an accident of a burst of uproar with surprised. Those who used to think that Cloud Dance is a waste or more open mouth, eyes obviously cannot believe. What's going on? She really not waste, but also strong enough to fly Yi Han? At this time, the master of ceremonies seemed to be shocked by the strength of Yunwu, which was suddenly displayed. What was more, he was stunned. A moment later he hastily announced, "Cloud Dance wins this game." As soon as the teacher's voice fell, The whole square was silent. Everyone's eyes seemed to be shocked and unbelievable, but now they seemed to understand it. It turns out that Yunwoo's ability to get into the top 20 all the way depends on neither releasing water nor luck. But her real strength. Isn't she a well-known waste? But what's going on? This shot can defeat the people in the middle of the 7th level. Is she stronger than Yi Han? Standing on the challenge arena, Yunwoo sees the square, which is a little dead and silent. The corners of his mouth outline slightly and walk to the side of Dragon Qingxia. How's it going? Are you satisfied with your strength? Of course. Long Qingxia looks at the cloud dance, and it seems that a touch of evil spirit rises on his face under the black veil. My woman's strength makes me feel proud of her husband. Smell speech. Cloud Dance can't help grinning for a while, for this man's such sweet words has not the kind of antipathy in the past. Perhaps, between lovers, occasionally such words are good. However, Yi Han, who was hit and flew out, immediately shrank in Yunwoo's eyes when he got up. Yunwoo turned his head and turned his eyes to Yi Han's position. When Yi Han met the cloud dancing line of sight, a haze of fierce color passed from her eyes, and her mouth was silent. Wait for me. Wait. Cloud Dance see this. That corner of the mouth seems to be still hanging a touch of light sneer. It seems that many people like to say that to her. However, after a short silence, because the competition in the other 4 arenas is still competing, compared with the speed of Cloud Dance, the fighting time of the other 4 arenas is much longer than that of the previous 2 days. This is also the more behind, the more wonderful. However, because there are still several scenes at the back door, the only special thing is that there is a glittering inside in the badge. Are these 2 from Inner College? Just then, another figure came slowly from behind the 2 men. It's a handsome man with a gentle smile. From his chest badge, it looks like a 6th grader. In the outside college, the 3rd grade is the highest, and his 6th grade means that he has reached the 6th grade in the inner college. Between, the man who walks slowly stops in front of the cloud dance. He asked in a low voice, "You are called Yunwoo, aren't you? Looking for Yunwoo?" Following behind those people, there are still many students who are separated by a certain distance. They want to be close but dare not be close. The eyes are full of surprise and curiosity, as well as a lot of expectations. That's a 6th-year student in inner college. It's hard to see people from inner college go to outer college. However, what's more unexpected is that he came to find Yunwoo. Smell speech. Cloud Dance with Dragon Qing Evil all lift Mao of looking at that gentle man of mouth. After glancing at the man, Yunwoo said calmly, "What's the matter?" In her memory, she didn't seem to have seen anyone from the inner college since she entered the university. I saw the gentle man. Looking up and down at her, just said with a smile, "Today, on behalf of the tutor of the internal college, I came to welcome the student who has entered the internal college. I heard that you are a freshman who has just entered the college with 0 indicators, but you have entered the top 20 all the way, and just defeated one of the strongest students in the external college." Speaking of this, the gentleman's smile deepened after a pause. So, the elder of inner college decided that in order to prevent fraud, if you challenge to win the next few games, you need to fight with me. This time, I'm here to tell you. Prevent fraud? That means that she is suspected of cheating? Although Cloud Dance does not need to be recognized by anyone, she only needs to achieve her goal. However, hearing this, there are still some discomfort in my heart. One side of the Dragon Qing Evil heard that words. That pair of deep eyes slightly narrowed up, a strong sharp from the eye. You mean she's cheating? The gentle man hears the sound and glances at the dragon of the black dosha. It seems that after looking at it, he said, "This is the decision of the elders. If you don't accept it, you will be disqualified from the quota." Said, the man's line of sight looked to the cloud dance. Of course, you can also choose to refuse. In fact, I don't want to do it with students from other colleges. It's very polite. Delicious kisses make people feel uncomfortable. Cloud Dance at this time, but slightly raised the corner of the mouth. Actually, the seniors have said that, then I naturally have no reason to refuse. Just Cloud Dance's reply, but didn't let that man have what's strange, that pretty face or gentle smile. inexplicably looking at the cloud dance for a while. Just see him suddenly smile of the mouth say, "In that case, let's have a good rest. I will challenge you in person." Finish saying, see that man also turn round, prepare to leave. However, it has just taken 2 steps. The man's step suddenly slightly turned his head. The eyes of the gentle smile fell on Yunwu again. "By the way, I seem to have forgotten to tell you that my name is Wu Xingyu. I'm the eldest brother of Wu Minner, who was suddenly abandoned as soon as I entered the college. I hope you don't become my opponent, otherwise, I think I can't help taking too heavy a hand." As soon as the words fell, the 5 stars would stare at the cloud with gentle smile. After a while they didn't stay. In the sight of many onlookers around, with the other 2 students, walking towards the direction of the competition square. 5 stars? Wu Minner's big brother? Hearing this, Yunwu's eyes seemed to be clear. It turned out to be a member of the 5th generation family. On one side, Long Qingxia said in a low voice, "Everyone in the 5th generation family is very talented. Almost everyone can enter the inner courtyard of the King of Gods and Warriors College. I'm afraid this 5-star universe is just one of them. I'm afraid there will be a lot of trouble when she enters the inner courtyard." Smell speech, cloud dance the corner of the mouth raises to smile lightly way. Is troublesome a little bit however, at least still not too troublesome. Although I don't know much about inner college with her strength, even those who are in inner college will not be her opponents. Long Qingxia said with a smile. "Let's go back and have a look. Maybe it's your turn soon." Then they walked slowly back towards the square. However, the news here was soon spread. Did you hear the news? The 5th senior of the inner college, to the waist it's a challenge under the cloud. Who are the 5 senior students? It's Wu Xingyu, the 5th senior who was elected to the inner college 3 years ago. I just saw and heard with my own eyes that the 5th senior challenged the cloud dance. He also said that he was the eldest brother of Wu Minner, who was abandoned in the freshman a few days ago. Big brother? That cloud dance is guilty, and the 5 generations dare to provoke. It is. After hearing the news, the students gathered outside immediately spread around. However, soon people on the scene saw that 3 students in different colors walked up to the competition area. People's eyes were attracted. Is that the uniform of inner college? Is that 5 stars? All kinds of curiosity and eager sight, brush swept past. And the competition in the challenge arena has completed the first round. 20-12. Yi Han, who was defeated by Yunwu before, entered the top 12 in the final Jing competition. When Yunwu and Longqing returned to the competition area, the second round has already started. However, it seems that because Cloud Dance won the first round, this time it became the finale role. Until finally, the tutor read the name of Yunwu. Cloud Dance Li Sheng. With that read sound, then see another side of a figure is quite strong man, from the other side challenge arena. Yunwu got up and went. However, compared with countless times of scorn before, after the last war, people around seemed to be more restrained and more rigorous. In the last round, Yunwu won with 1 punch. It was too exciting. Some people still thought it was too incredible and impossible. The second round is 12-6. This time, let's see if the cloud dance really depends on its own strength. However, since the last scene has been exposed, Cloud Dance is not playing 3 procrastination. Li Sheng. Cloud Dance. After they came on stage, they bowed down and saluted each other according to the rules of the game. Let's go. At this time, the master of ceremonies cheered, and the competition between the 2 began. Li Sheng, looking at the Cloud Dance, had a trace of vigilance in his eyes. Obviously, the previous round of her hand to Yi Han's game let him heart and a layer of vigilance. However, also in that tutor cheers, belongs to the 6-peak fighting spirit, in an instant. Then, without any hesitation, he took all his speed like lightning, with a fiery breath, and directly attacked the Cloud Dance. Fire attribute. Yunwu looks at Li Sheng, who is attacking and doesn't move much. Just like that, in full view of the public. Boom. The sound of a loud noise set off a cloud of smoke and the cloud shrank in the position of the explosion. Is that the end? It seems that the so-called cloud dance really got into the top 20 after cheating. Yes, otherwise the elder won't let the 5 senior students come out. However, it's ridiculous that the waste wants to enter the inner college because of cheating. On the seat of the competition area, the 2 students of inner college who followed Wu Xingyu saw the scene on the field and immediately disdained to sneer. However, they haven't finished talking about the back door, as if they were suddenly cut off by something. Disdain in the eyes was replaced by surprise. At the same time, there was an uproar of disdain all around, and it was quiet at that moment. Then, the sounds of exclamations appeared in the square. How can this? That waste she. I saw that the challenge arena was hit with a hole in the position where it was split and blasted by the fire elements of the 6th level. And Cloud Dance, completely safe standing there, the whole body without a trace of damage. She didn't even move from beginning to end. But what surprised people most was that Yunwu was standing in the void at the foot of the hole. Seeing this, Li Sheng seemed unable to express his emotions. His face changed. No, impossible. I clearly feel my strength and hit you. How can you still stand here? At this time, the clouds are dancing in the void, and the picture without any damage in front of us really makes everyone a little silly. How is that possible? Even though Li Sheng is not as strong as Yi Han, his attack skills are not weak. How could it be that she wasn't hurt at all? Li Sheng stares at Yunwu, but he is more unwilling. All of a sudden, he tried his best to lift up his whole body's strength and hit the clouds again. But at this time of cloud dance, eyes slightly raised, the corner of the mouth strange raised a touch of radiance. When Li Sheng's attack fell again, her figure disappeared out of thin air. Suck! A burst of anger suddenly spread out among the onlookers in the square. And the door of tutor sitting on the tutor's stage is also a burst of consternation and stupidity. Disappeared? In front of everyone's face, did not let people feel any breath, so the big man just disappeared out of thin air? How is that possible? Even if the strength is good, it seems impossible to disappear like that. What's more, she is a freshman. A 15-year-old freshman. How could she? Wu Xingyu, who was sitting in the competition area, seemed to sink down in an instant when he saw this scene. The pupil mouth suddenly tiny me rises. The eye mouth is not instantaneous stare at that challenge arena. Didn't feel any fluctuations? With his strength, I can't feel the wave of cloud dance. What kind of strength is she? However, at this time, the students around the square took a breath again. See, just disappeared figure, just like that, and out of thin air appeared. And the position at this time is that Li Sheng's top of the head. I don't know who it is. I'm surprised. She's up there. A thick and oppressive purplish-red fighting spirit, like a cage, was raised around. Without giving Li Sheng any chance to react, the fighting spirit materialized into a cage and directly trapped Li Sheng. It seems that at this moment, the sound of pouring gas and startling voice is rising in the whole square. At this moment, even the teacher's faces changed. Is fighting spirit materialized? What kind of martial arts is that? Why haven't you heard of it? This surprised all the tutors, including Lu Zi, the director of the tutor. He didn't seem to think that cloud dance had such a skill. The pupil of Wu Xingyu on the seat of the competition area shrinks again. At her age, she has reached the strength of the middle of the 7th stage? It's said that the 9th lady of General Yunda's military mansion was not born sick? But this Li Sheng in the cage, after recovering from the shock, immediately aroused his whole body strength and wanted to open the cage around him. But no matter how hard he tried, he couldn't get away. At this time, he seemed to find that he was not her opponent at all. You are the strength in the middle of the 7th stage. Martial arts? The strength of the mid-7th stage? Cloud Dance here's speech shrug, did not answer him. She didn't learn any martial arts, but she just used the form of condensing elements to fight. However, he still looked at Li Sheng and asked in a low voice, "You lost." As soon as the voice fell, Yunwu brushed his hand. Li Sheng, who was imprisoned by fighting spirit, immediately flew out. When he fell into the ring, the fighting spirit around him disappeared. After a staggering step, Li Shengkai steadied himself. Lost? He just lost to a 15-year-old girl? After standing firm, Li Sheng immediately looked up to the challenge arena. However, this time, in the sight of cloud dance, There was no unwilling color. On the contrary, gradually raised a nameless respect. He lost. He was convinced. From the beginning, the girl was misunderstood by others that she entered the students backstage. Later, she was misunderstood as buying the contestants and making fun of them, but she didn't have any explanation from the beginning to the end, and she didn't even see her show any unhappy mood swings. With her strength, if you change to be someone else, how can you endure the insult and ridicule of others? However, the girl, who is only 15 years old, can endure so quietly. This is not only a matter of strength, but also a reflection of her calm attitude. This can only further show that this girl is not simple. And Li Sheng, if you can lose to such a girl, he will not lose face. Yes, I lost. I'm convinced. Li Sheng looked at the cloud dance and said in public. This sentence he said is very straightforward, completely sincere. The cloud dances and the corners of the mouth are slightly raised. However, he didn't say anything. He turned around and jumped off the challenge arena and walked towards the dragon. At this time, the master of ceremonies seemed to react. Cloud dance wins. This time, there was a trace of astonishment in the voice. At this time, the whole square was silent. If the previous reason is that the cloud dance indicators are 0, it is also the reason that the students only go backstage. So at this moment, they are all the waste who come into the college backstage in their eyes. This one also let them see with their own eyes. This so-called no suspense game is like. This so-called strong man should be what posture and appear. At this moment, all the students in the square, including the tutor, disdain, laugh and sneer at Yunwu. It seems to have completely disappeared. Yes, only the shock and disbelief. But then a voice came out. I want to complain. At this time, the people around seemed to react. After wiping, the noisy people looked over. See, sitting on the other side of Yi Han, stand up from the seat, coldly looking at the clouds. The world knows that Miss Nine of the Cloud family has been born a waste and a sick child since she was born, but this Miss Nine of the Cloud family doesn't look like the one of the Cloud family at all. I'd like to complain that she's in the college at the top of Miss Yunjiajio. See this words a people on the square immediately peep forward. But a lot of people began to agree. Yes, everyone in the Zhou dynasty knows that the 9th Miss of Yunda General's military mansion is naturally ill and a 0-talent waste. If she is really the 9th Miss of Yunjia, with her present strength, how can there be no news? Yes, I haven't thought of it yet, but it makes people feel suspicious. If she really uses the identity of Miss Yunjiajio, then she is not qualified to participate in this competition. Yes, we want to play again. Race again. The defeated cadets, hearing this, are all in a row, hoping to compete again. In that way, they will have another chance. See that student coaxed together. The tutors also looked at each other. In the heart also feel some suspicious. Because the rumors about Miss Yun Jiajio were well known by the whole Zhou dynasty. If Miss Yun really achieves this strength, it's impossible that no news will come out. Is the cloud dance in front of us really fake? Who said my baby granddaughter was a fake? But also at this time, a very dissatisfied voice came from the crowd in the square. Then 2 figures came out of the crowd. Hearing the sound, everyone looked at the sound. When they saw that they were just 2 ordinary-looking young people, the people present could not help frowning. Who is that? However, as the sound came, the willow sitting on the throne helplessly helped his forehead, as if he was depressed and speechless. How did you come to the college? Luzi looked at the 2 people who came to the cloud dance. After a helpless question, he stood up from his seat. Yunqi glanced at the willow coming down angrily, then lifted the fake skin and hair on his face in public. A head of white hair, a face of wrinkles, but with a pair of extremely sharp eyes. That momentum seems to have changed in an instant. If I don't come, I won't know that people in the whole college treat my precious granddaughter like this. You're a tutor and director, and you don't even say a fart. Yunqi said that he was very angry. 3 days ago, I heard that Cloud Dance was going to participate in the quota competition of the selected college. Yunqi, who has been waiting in the city, naturally wants to see his baby granddaughter's action in the game after hearing the news. All also with cloud cold eso disguised sneak in. But in the past 2 days, Yunqi is so angry that her eyes are on fire, especially angry. Because all the students in this college, whether in the face or behind, disdain and ridicule Cloud Dance. He also said that the Cloud family is playing tricks and buying, although those gossips with his age identity really do not have to worry about so much. Can hear more, how he wants to endure, but also a belly of fire. But in the past 2 days he saw Yunwu. Her calm nature made Yunqi feel happy again. In the past 2 days in the dark, Yunlingyi has been watching Yunwu and her taunting voice for those gossips, which is quiet, calm and indifferent. All of a sudden, he had a feeling that he saw how he was treating her. At that time, because Mrs. Morong was in Yunfu, although he gave her some good looks, they were all impure and not really, and her attitude seems to be the scene in front of her. He finally had some understanding at the sound of Yunqi's loud voice. Liuzi's mouth drew. But he said in a low voice, "Well, if you have something to say later, you will be allowed to watch the battle for the sake of your family." With that, Liuzi threw a glance at Yunqi. Yunqi is an old master, so naturally, he won't be forced to leave the stage in front of the whole students. Well, but who just said that my baby granddaughter is not from the Cloud family? When Yunqi spoke in a loud voice, his eyes swept towards Yihan on the other side. Yihan's face is not so ugly at this time. Originally, I was able to make a direct contribution to the Cloud Dance on this issue, but did not think this suddenly appeared so two people. After glancing at Yihan, Yunqi swept away towards the people around him. A strong breath accompanied by an oppressive majesty swept towards the humanity around him. She's Yunwu, my granddaughter of Yunqi, and the real ninth lady of our family. Can anyone else pretend to be her? In the future, if you dare to gossip behind your back, even if my granddaughter is kind-hearted, our Cloud family won't forget that. Cloud Cold E also lifted the camouflage. A face of majesty swept around. Although he didn't say anything, many students were shocked by the general's momentum. Is this the general? So Cloud Dance is really Miss Nine? The whole square, once again, was completely silent. Looking at the scene of Cloud Dance, I was surprised. They sneaked into the college. As for the reason, Yunwu can't guess. Girl, at this time, you should open the signal bomb I gave you. After taking back his sight, Yunqi said in a low voice. When she entered the college, she said that if she had anything to do, she would pull it apart and they would come. Smell speech. Cloud Dance can't help but feel a warm heart. Lips can't help but outline asked. Why are you still here? Didn't you go back to the Imperial City? But Yunqi grinned. But if you have something to do, you stay for a few more days. After hearing that my baby granddaughter wants to compete for a place in the college, how can we not come and have a look? However, at this time, Liuzi came in a low voice. You dead old man, sit in the competition area. The third round of the competition is about to start. What are you talking about here? What else did Yunqi want to say? But there was more sight around, and some words were not easy to say on the spot. Finally, it did not continue to say, Girl, a good game. I and your father to the side to wait for you. With that, Yunqi and Yunlingyi go to the competition area and sit on the empty seat beside Long Qingxia. Cloud Dance looked at them, then drew back her sight. Because at this time, when the master of ceremonies responded, he received the director's attention and immediately called out. In the third round, the match of 12-6 officially started. The Cloud dances against Yihan. See, in the teacher's shout, many people around lung for a while. Immediately, they all looked at the challenge arena on which Yunwu walked. In the first round, the Cloud dance is against Yihan. Yihan is defeated. In the third round, why are they two? However, just Cloud Dance's hand, let many people see, Cloud Dance that 7-level medium term strength. That's the same level strength as Yihan. Maybe at the beginning, Yihan underestimated the enemy, so he was shot down by mistake. This time, the two men are equal in strength, which is estimated to be better than just now. Yihan, Cloud Dance. The rules are that two people salute each other. However, I haven't waited for the tutor to start. A strange and strong breath, just like a boa constrictor attack, with the power of lightning, straight to the cloud. This scene makes Yinqi and Yinlingi stand up from their seats. 9 peaks? Has he been hiding his strength? Yinqi's voice suddenly sank. There's something wrong with his breath. Cloud cold also low way. That breath is a bit strange to normal people. However, that Yihan suddenly shot, with that strong strange breath, also let the people on the scene is a lung. What's going on? But at that time, the cloud dance that stood opposite Yihan also moved back in that instant. Yihan's attack directly runs through the shadow of cloud dance. This scene was clearly seen by everyone present. A hand to cloud dance is a dead hand. Yihan saw that he was defeated in the attack, and his heart was gloomy and angry. Now he is full of strength, the strength of the 9th level peak, and even almost all the instructors on the scene are not his opponents. What's more, he made a quick move unexpectedly. Can that cloud dance unexpectedly escaped again? Damn it. Tear at this time Yihan's right hand, which originally clenched his fist, suddenly rose high. At that time, the clothes on his arm were torn open. The huge muscle is full of a strange and powerful force, which quickly attacks the cloud dance. Yihan's eyes are full of haze and coldness, and his attack speed doesn't slow down the second half of the point. You can't help showing your prototype at last. Cloud dance a pair of careless side back of retreat. Looking at that hit Yihan, the corner of the mouth slightly Yang said a word. The bottom of the eye is cold. Because she can feel, this leaf-cold beast, speed and strength increased a lot obviously. Look at his animal-like arm, it should be a power ape arm. Generally, the speed of the power type is relatively slow. However, Yihan's speed was obviously not slow, but extremely agile. Smell speech, Yihan is a little unidentified. She said she finally showed her prototype. Did she know that he was as soon as this idea passes by? Yihan's eyes brush with ferocity. Then she can't stay. Now that you know, leave your life behind. Yihan whispered. A strong burst of attack, immediately toward the cloud dance around the cage. That kind of feeling is like manipulating a certain force in the air, directly cutting off the back road of cloud dance, and imprisoning her in that force. At this moment, the present tutor can feel it instantly. Air imprisonment martial arts? Isn't that the secret book of the academy? How could he? As soon as a tutor felt the fluctuation in the air, one stood up and frowned at Yihan on the stage. The senior tutor who belongs to Yihan's tutor is also surprised to see Yihan. How could he know this kind of martial arts in inner school? Is it the last time he said that he wanted to find some martial arts skills in the Kangwu Pavilion, but he sneaked into the interior to steal them? But there are not 2 administrators inside. How can he get in? See, in that tutor voice, people in the square, obviously also by the stage that strange speed attack Yihan, to attract attention. What a strong breath. What a powerful martial art. But what's the matter with Yihan's arm? How do you feel? Like the arm of an ape. And white hair, however. Yihan didn't pay attention to what the people below thought. Now his first goal is to kill her. Never let others know the existence of the Beast Gate. At the moment when Yunwu was trapped, Yihan's left arm was torn. The left arm was also brutalized, and the arms of 2 giant heroes obviously made Yihan's whole person extremely uncoordinated. Can see his arms beast, 2 strong arms, filled with a wave of strength. The next moment he suddenly attacked the cloud dance, and at the same time, his 10 fingers suddenly grew sharp long claws. Just like 10 sharp swords, Choyan would chop down his body. There was a feeling of cutting her in half. This scene changed the faces of the present tutors, Liuzi, including Yinqi and Yinlingi. But before they could stop it, the imprisoned cloud dance disappeared in full view of the public. Yihan Lung after a while, the fundus of the eye flashed a wipe, can't believe. How is that possible? Air confinement, in addition to confinement, directly determines the people in the air. No matter how strong and fast the man is, he can't disappear without breaking through the air confinement. What's going on? Since you want my life, I'll take it. At this time, a cold voice came from behind Yihan. What? Yihan's pupil shrinks. Brush. Poof! As soon as the cold light passed by, the sharp sword was stabbed into the body. Yihan turns his head and looks at the cloud dance with a sneer in the corner of his mouth. Just as he turned his head, shwa! The knife went a little deeper. Yihan's face turned white, and a mouthful of blood oozed from his mouth. The smell of blood soon filled the air. But Yihan is still angry and cold, waiting for the clouds to dance. Who are you? With his strength plus the power of the beast. Can't beat such a weak girl? It's humiliation, but it's also fear. She absolutely can't be that 9 young ladies who are sick and wretched. So who is she? Who is it? Hearing his question, Yunwu's smile deepened a little. You really shouldn't ask me this question. You should ask your lord who I am. My lord? Did she ever see him? Yihan opens his eyes wide, opens his mouth and stares at Yunwu. He wants to open his mouth, but it seems that everything is stuck in his throat. But cloud dance done, the fundus of the eye seemed to flash a bloody coldly. This has to wait for him to also arrive at the hell of time. You again slowly ask him. What? Yihan's heart trembled and his pupils suddenly widened. But in that second, the cold light passed by. The scream suddenly raised, and the roar of the beast almost shook the whole square. When everyone reacted, the whole audience, including the tutor, looked at the challenge arena in surprise. I saw that on the challenge arena, it was the 2 arms and claws that had been cut off and turned into the original shape, and Yihan who was still lying on the challenge arena twitching. And the cloud dance of a unique cold atmosphere. Bloody? This air is full of the smell of blood, but seeing this scene no one came out to say a word, because the people present seemed to be shocked. In addition to Yunwu's hand and her sudden change of aura, there is the pair of beast arm claws. What the hell is that? That pair of obviously Warcraft's claw arm. Is it really cut off from the human body? That Yihan, is Warcraft transformed into human form? Or who is it? People are not dead yet. Isn't that against the rules of the competition? Cloud Dance raised mouth to see to that master of ceremonies teacher under that challenge arena, indifferent voice said. But her indifferent voice seemed to spread out towards the square like a megaphone, and all the people present could hear it clearly. At this time, the tutor on one side finally responded. Almost immediately up, toward the ground twitching Yihan explored, and breathing, people are still alive. However, in such a situation, he could only breathe at most. How can we judge Cloud Dance wins this one? But at this time, the majestic voice of Liuzi came from the theme. It seems that no one is against this verdict. In fact, no one is qualified to oppose it. After hearing the announcement, Yunwu didn't stay in the challenge arena any longer. After walking down from the challenge arena, he went to the position of Long Qingxia and Yunqi. But at this time, even if I die, I will let you be buried with me. A hoarse and angry voice came hysterically from behind Yunwu. A strange black light passed through the back of the Cloud Dance. This scene almost did not give the audience the opportunity to react, had to stare a pair of eyes, looking at the challenge arena ladder. That was black light through the cloud. Girl. Little dance. On the seats of the competition area, Yunqi and Yunlingyi's faces changed, and almost at that moment they rushed straight to the past. Wuxia on the other side was also surprised. Some of the tutors didn't respond, including Lu Zi, the director of the tutor. However, only the dragon, who was wearing black sand, was still sitting on the seat, looking at the evil spirit. Kill gently, a word spit out from his lips. And also in his that word just a fall of that second. A burst of exclamation like poor gas sound set off. Suck. How possible? At that moment, Wu Xingyu on the other side suddenly stood up from his seat, and his eyes, which were always disguised as smiling and gentle, suddenly widened. Staring at the challenge arena, the cloud dancing figure, which was clearly penetrated, gradually twisted and disappeared when it was visible to the naked eye its shadow. Its remnant shadow. In the situation just like that, not to mention the strength of the 9th level peak, even the strength of the great martial arts master is absolutely impossible to avoid. Thousands of people in the square saw it with their own eyes. And the body of Cloud Dance was actually penetrated. But now it's gone in a twist, leaving the public with a shadow. What does this stand for? Her strength has surpassed the peak of the 9th level. Even the great martial arts master shock, amazement, shock. It seems that there is no way to express, at this time, The changes in the hearts of the people fluctuations. Yihan tried his best and failed again? Yihan stares at the shadow left in front of him. For the first time, he really feels fear, which is a kind of fear from the depth of his soul. Since you don't cherish the last bit of time, I'll give you a ride myself. The familiar cold voice came from my ear. Yihan wants to look around. But at that moment, the horror in his eyes was fixed directly, because he didn't know when a blood hole appeared on his neck, and the blood flew out of it directly. I saw that the depth of the knife could almost cut off his whole head. But the head was still around his neck, crumbling, horrifying and disgusting. Bang! The corpse fell to the ground. Under the impact of force, the head finally fell from the body. After several rolls, it fell from the challenge arena and rolled to the front of the row of tutors. When I see the head with big eyes like I'm not closing my eyes. The present tutors all secretly took a cool breath, and the astonishment also filled the eyes of all the present tutors. Especially when you see the figure on the challenge arena again. Also for the first time, the tutors on the scene felt a sense of inexplicable fear of the girl, who appeared out of thin air in the challenge arena. Seeing this scene, I'm afraid no one's heart will not have that sense of terror. Well, is it really a 15-year-old girl? However, at this time, a lot of people reacted and some doubts flashed in their hearts. What is the knife that she stabbed into Yihan's body, and the weapon that cut off his neck? It seems that I didn't see the weapon in Yunwu's hand. To kill him, I'm just protecting myself. I don't think it's illegal, do I? Yunwu stood on the challenge arena and looked at the teachers who were all shocked. The voice is light and has no ups and downs, but it makes people feel cold at the bottom of my heart. At this moment, it seems that the present tutors have long lost the superiority of being tutors and the feeling of respecting teachers. Because the strength of each one of them is not her opponent, including Lu Zi, the director of their tutor. In the face of this kind of students who are stronger than themselves, the tutors only feel infinite pressure in their hearts. The master of ceremonies responded and said, "Yes, yes, no violation." There was a trace of respect in the slightly trembling voice. This is the law of survival in this alien world. The strong are respected. As long as you have great power, you are the master of the world. But the same is true. But when you are weaker than others, you can only be trampled on by others. Even you can't grasp your own life and death. She dances in the clouds, never seeking fame or profit. However, she absolutely does not allow her own life. The life she cares about is in the hands of others, without any security. So, she needs to be strong, constantly improving. This time entering the college, she not only wanted to look for the map, but also wanted to go to the Zhongwu Pavilion in the inner college. Although this strange martial arts she did not touch much. But Yi Han's air imprisonment made her realize that the power of this alien martial art is not simple at all. This is definitely a way for the strong. If she wants to be strong, no matter what road it is, she will learn from progress. After hearing the teacher's reply, Yunwu jumps from the challenge arena and continues to walk towards Yunqi and Yunlingyi. She saw their reaction just now. To tell you the truth, for Yunlingyi, because of the previous things, she has always felt cold in the bottom of her heart, and even has a strong antipathy to him. However, maybe one sentence is quite right. That his blood is thicker than water. Although she is not a real cloud dance, she does have his blood flowing on her body. The so-called father-daughter nature, the so-called kinship, had some influence on her. Girl, are you okay? Yunqi looks at Yunwu. Although he is shocked by the situation just now, he can't help asking with concern. Yunwu shook his head. It's okay, he can't hurt me, said Cloud Dance. Line of sight but slightly slant overhead. Saw an eye that cloud cold one eye. I saw a trace of concern in his eyes, but it was inexplicably complicated. It seemed that he wanted to ask a question, but he couldn't open his mouth. Come on, get back to your seat. Cloud Dance opens away. Finally, in full view of the public, the three returned to their seats in the competition area and sat beside Long Qingxia. But it was just then. Whoa, the whole silent square seemed to burst out at that moment. With countless exclamations, voices of disbelief, admiration and even horror. UAIA, suddenly boiling up. And what makes this scene today is the girl who they disdained to ridicule not long ago. But at this time, what scornful contempt, what arrogant ridicule, was replaced by the shock of horror, completely disappeared in everyone's heart. The void disappears, the shadow remains, the strange speed just now, the strength of cloud dance has brought shock to people, which is really not a little bit. Because of the noise of the cloud dance, the competition in the back was temporarily suspended. We had a rest in the morning and continued in the afternoon. At this point, in the dean's room, Wuxia could hardly hide his excitement. He told Chiemo what happened in the challenge arena not long ago. Originally, I met the president with the same expression of shock and surprise. Can see him, but still as mild and indifferent, continued to slowly wave the pen, as if reading something. Dean, don't you feel surprised at that girl's strength? Thinking of him at the scene, I was so surprised that I couldn't calm down. Look at the calm of the dean. It's worthy of being the president. However, Chiemo did not lift his head and said, I saw it at that time, so I didn't have to report it to me. What? The dean was there? Then why didn't he see it? However, for this problem, Wuxia naturally would not ask an idiot but continued. The dean that Yihan died, how should the college explain to his family? Chiemo at this time, put down the pen in the hand, lift Mao to see to that Willow-san. You are tutor director, this problem you still need to ask me? Smell speech. Willow-san can't help but shrink neck, but can't help but again weigh. Because there is no record of Yihan's family background in the college records, and the letter that Yihan was admitted to the college was written by the dean himself, so I want to ask if the dean knows his family background information. Chiemo smells speech, but eyebrow slightly wrinkled. My personal letter? Yes, 3 years ago when Yihan entered the college, he was holding a letter written by you, the dean. At that time, the tutor of enrollment made a special remark. Said Wuxia, show me the letters of the day. As soon as Chiemo finished, Wuxia seemed to have been prepared, so he took out a letter from his arms. The handwriting on the letter is Chima's. Can Chiemo saw one eye. That pair of eye ground can't help but sink down. Half a sound, an inexplicable flame soared, and directly burned the letter he poked tightly in his hand. It's really my handwriting, but I've never recruited Yihan. This letter is forged. What fake? Wuxia frowned in disbelief. How can it be? Besides the handwriting of the dean, there is also the special seal of the dean of the college on the letter. No one can forge it. At this point, the voice of Wuxia was suddenly heard. His eyes suddenly widened. Is that the tutor in the college? What happened? Traitor? After that, Wuxia didn't say it, but they couldn't understand it. If you can forge the handwriting and seal of the dean, you can't be a student. The only thing you can do is a tutor. For thousands of years, the tutors in the college have entered the college after many choices, and there have never been any traitors. But today they have to pay attention to the situation. Although Shimwu Samurai College is only a college, its talents are almost all over the Zhou dynasty, even in other countries. This is just like the root of a country. If something happens to the college, it will definitely have a great impact. Dean, do you think it has something to do with the white shadow we chased but didn't catch that night? When Chiemo heard the speech, he didn't answer. Instead, he thought about it coldly, and then he looked up at Wuxia Dao. Look for the girl. The girl? Does the dean mean cloud dance? I'm going. After nodding, Wuxia immediately turned away. It's really a big deal to see a traitor in this college. It can't be delayed. However, as soon as Wuxia left, a figure appeared in the room. Chiemo looked at the figure. His face was ugly and cold. You did it? I can only see that the image of the Taoist body is coming out of the void, so the gentle smile is lightly hanging on the corner of his mouth. Back then, didn't you say there was no talent in the whole college? By the way, I returned a favor to others and took a letter. Unexpectedly, after 3 years you found out. Chiemo frowned and looked at the man standing in front of him. He was not who he was. He was the nobleman who separated from Yunwu in Shanggu town last month. This time, what's the matter? Chiemo looks at that lofty, very impatient. After hearing the noble words, Junyi's face is still gentle and smiling. I haven't seen you for so many years. It's not too much to come to see you, is it? Younger martial brother, younger martial brother? Hear those two words, Chiemo mood obviously dry anger flits over. I am already not ware of person, don't call so intimate, I can't bear. As you are, it should be my honor to call you younger martial brother. How can I not afford it? If it wasn't. Come on, don't talk about it. I'm not interested in what happened in those years. If you have something to say, just go away. Chiimo's tone is not good. Sublime seems to have been used to it for a long time. This time, I'll just stop by and have a look. It's nothing. If it's okay, go away. However, I just watched a very interesting game. The girl was very good. As soon as the noble words fell, Chiimo's eyes suddenly narrowed. Are you thinking about that girl? Now that she's a student of the Samurai Academy, don't think so. Oh, for hundreds of years, no matter how gentle you pretend to be, this hot temper has not changed. You want me to see you off in person, don't you? Chiemo hears speech, seem to understand to him, but feel very impatient. Sublime seems to have heard the footsteps from outside, and shrugged. You don't need to send me. I'll go by myself. However, before I leave, I'll tell you that the girl may be the future saint of the witch clan, the daughter of the woman. People over there are looking for her. If you don't want to be exposed and found, you can drive her out of the college or protect her from being found. Of course, your identity is special, like this, but it's up to you to choose. The sublime words just came down. There was a knock outside the door, and just at the moment when the door was opened, the loftiness that had been standing in the room before had disappeared out of thin air. Chiemo looked at the direction of the sublime disappearance, and then he looked back at the Liuzi who pushed the door and followed the clouds behind him. Her daughter? Chiemo looked at the line of sight of Cloud Dance, compared with before, at this time in the eye but with a strange look that makes people say not clear, the way is endless. It's like he's searching her for something familiar. Looking at Chiemo's eyes, Cloud Dance couldn't help frowning. Dean, I have brought you. Liuzi came in and said to Chiemo. Chiemo at this time raised his hand toward him. You go down first, I have something to talk to her. When Liuzi heard the words, he naturally withdrew. What can I do for you, Dean? After Liuzi went out, Yunwu also stood at the door, didn't look at Chiemo and asked. Chiemo was not in a hurry to speak, but realized that he had seen her several times. Then he said, Do you know Huang Yingying? What? Cloud Dance smell speech, frown sign for a while. Yellow Warbler? Who is it? But when Cloud Dance was in doubt, it seemed that a fuzzy face suddenly flashed in the memory. But it was enough to let her know who it was. You know her? Yunwu stares at him and doesn't answer the rhetorical question. Chiemo smell speech, like helpless, like inexplicable smile. However, there was a bitter smile in my heart, because when she spoke he had already determined that she was her daughter. Because that charm, too much like her. Unexpectedly, he had been looking for her for so many years, but he found her daughter instead of her. Is this nature? It's okay. I'm just an old acquaintance. I haven't seen her for many years. I just saw that you look like her, so I asked. Chiemo said with a faint smile, but his emotion had been restrained. Is that so? Yunwu stared at him for a while, but didn't say much. To know her mother's name, it's hard to guarantee that he will know her mother's identity as a witch, thus exposing her identity. What's the matter with the dean coming to me? It's nothing. It's just that I heard about your excellent performance in the competition quota. Therefore, it's unnecessary for the following competitions. Tomorrow morning, you will follow the students from the inner college and enter the inner college together. Smell speech, Cloud Dance can't help picking eyebrows. He means, is it her? However, for the following competition, it's the same whether she plays or not. She will eventually win the quota. You go out and get ready first. By the way, I have something to ask your father. You ask him to come. Chiemo says at this time, lift Mao of C to Cloud Dance to say. Yunwu didn't ask much. After nodding, she left. As soon as Yunwu walked out of the teaching building, Yunqi and others who were waiting downstairs immediately welcomed him forward. What's the matter with the dean looking for you? Asked Yunqi. Cloud Dance looked at them, the corners of his mouth slightly yawn, said that the competition in the back is not needed. Tomorrow can directly enter the inner college. Cloud Chi smell speech, immediately a happy grin. One side of the dragon did not speak evil, but his eyes under the black sand, Cloud Dance nature will not ignore. However, Yunwu turns her eyes and looks at Yunlingji, who seems to have some emotional fluctuations. College, I want to see you. See him. Yunlingyi was stunned, but soon he nodded and looked at the Cloud Dance. He couldn't help saying in a low voice, then I went up. Well, father-daughter dialogue, that's it. But this makes Yunqi very happy. At least, the relationship between them seems to be easing. Then you go to see what the dean wants from you. I'll take my precious granddaughter out of the city and have a good meal. After tomorrow, our girl will enter the inner college. Yunqi said in a loud voice. Then he took Cloud Dance and Dragon with him, pulled up the tutor and went to the gate of the college. With Liuzi as a tutor and director, they went out smoothly. At this time the whole peripheral college people, who do not know the strength of Cloud Dance, who dares to have any obstruction, even if so go backstage. At this time no one will dare to pit a half sentence. Lingcheng. It is the town where the Samurai Academy is located, and it is also the junction of the three kingdoms. In fact, it is not far away from the colleges of the other two countries, just like the position of three tripods. The three colleges all contain each other. However, because the three colleges have an agreement with each other, students of the Three Kingdoms College are not allowed to fight in private, as long as they appear in the towns of the Three Kingdoms College. If we do, the party who is responsible will bear all the responsibilities. With these agreements in place, the three countries have been in harmony in addition to their annual competitions. So, in this mausoleum city, occasionally you can see some students from other countries walking around. The characteristic architecture of ancient Rome, prosperous streets. When Yunwu and others came out of the college, they walked towards the prosperous street. Today's weather is very good. Compared with the rainy day when I entered the college, the flow of people naturally increased a lot. So when a few people came to the street, what they saw was the extremely prosperous scene. Guests, come and have a look. This is the elixir we just got from the deep mountain. It's very effective. The top 10 can get a discount when they come here. Take a look. The best ancient sword has powerful energy. Don't miss it when you pass by. Girl, come and have a look. As soon as you enter the market, the cries of the roadside shops and hawkers come. Pedestrians on the street also stop and walk, looking at all kinds of goods around. Girl, what do you like? Grandpa bought it for you. Walking in the street crowd, Yunqi asked in a very happy voice. One side of the willow see this, is very speechless. White look at him. I say, you old man, can you stop laughing so badly? Even if this Cloud girl is your granddaughter, don't flaunt like this. Yunqi glanced at him. How can I hear someone's sour breath? His granddaughter so promising, he was happy. This voice opened is also very natural. He is happy. I'm too lazy to tell you. Go girl. It's my treat today. I'll take you to eat something delicious. Liuzi said, and took Yunwu to the other side of the street. My granddaughter, I need your treat. Just a little money is not enough for you to stuff your teeth. Wait a minute. I'll treat you if you're full. Yunqi immediately followed him, as if not to be outdone. Yunwu and Long Qingxia are walking behind. Looking at the two old men's bickering, they can't help laughing. Wait, are you still going to college with me? Cloud Dance turns head to see I dragon to poor evil of Aste. Long Qingxia's face under the black veil raised a doting smile, and naturally reached out to catch her little hand. After seeing you enter the college safely, I will leave and go to Longziguo. Long Shugua. Cloud Dance hears speech, pondered for a while, and then says, how long will it take? 1 year at most. Long Qingxia made a low promise. A year? That's enough. When he comes back, it's time for her to fulfill her promise. Well, I'll wait for you to come back and marry me. Long Qingxia gave a low smile, and tightened her hand. What are you laughing at? Yunwu turned his head and looked at him strangely. It's rare to see you take the initiative, isn't it? I've been fascinated by you at last. Long Qingxia's joking way. Smell speech, cloud dance I ground brush once put on streamer, some want to pinch his impulse. This man, that mouth always seems to have some however, when he was laughing in a low voice, Yunwu suddenly outlined the corner of his mouth and joked like him. Yes. I'm crazy about you so you're responsible. But did not think that her words fell. Her sideman a sign lung, grasps her hand also to hold tightly in a flash, as if the body was stiff. Although the black dosha is separated, it seems that it can't separate the suddenly hot sight. Is that true? His low voice was tinged with a hint of hoarseness. Cloud Dance subconsciously swallowed saliva, was his too hot line of sight to see, some at a loss. There was no response. Until in front of that big voice. What are you doing? Come on, keep up. Yunqi's loud voice suddenly made Yunwu calm down. After clearing his throat, he raised his eyes to meet him and said seriously, I never joke. In fact, she just really wanted to learn from him as he pondered the joke. Obviously, this man seems to care. See in the Cloud Dance that answer. Black dough gauze under that Zhangyi Rong burned face, immediately grin. Come on, have a good meal. Long Qingxia grabbed her hand and walked forward happily. Cloud Dance looked at the man, corner of the mouth helplessly smile. It seems that both men and women actually like some sweet and greasy words. One of the biggest restaurants in the city. Because living in the prosperous street in the city, it's just noon. When Yunqi took them to the restaurant, they were full of friends. If it wasn't for the tavern man who knew Liuzi and knew that he was the director of Shenwang Warrior Academy, I don't know when he would have a position. Although it was a small crowded table in the corner of the hall, I sat down. Girl, I tell you, the food in this family is very delicious. I'll come and have a meal whenever I have time. After sitting down, Liuzi said to Yunwu. And at this time, the shop boy also came to ask a few people what to eat. Liuzi also quickly ordered the restaurant's several signature dishes. Although there are many guests at this time, it seems that because of Liuzi's identity, the dishes will be ready soon. However, at this time, the Liuzi's vision just looked at the dragon Qingxia who was sitting beside Yunwu and had not made much noise. I said, boy, when you eat, should you take off the things you have on your head? Long Qingxia is the identity of Long Shizi. As a teaching director, it is impossible not to know. Naturally, he also knows the situation in his rumor. However, it should not even eat when you do not pick it. But after Lu Zi's words, Long Qingxia didn't respond. Yunqi, who was sitting next to him, glanced at the willow. Wearing it or not is the freedom of others. You care so much what you do and eat your food. What else did Liuzi want to say? But the dragon, who had no action, really reached out and took off the black veil on his head at that time. But in the next second, suck! The sound of pouring air spread all over the hall in an instant. And without a moment, the sound of distaste from near also began to spread at the same time. Who is that? It's too scary to look like this. Dare to go out even if you look like this. How dare you go out like this? The restaurant hall is full, even if the seat of Yunwu and others is in the corner, but this kind of disgust-like sound, or quickly spread one after another. It won't take a moment. Almost even the people on the second floor looked down along the voice of the discussion around them. Seeing that, I have no appetite. That's right. It's really disgusting. It's hard for people to eat. There is no virtue left behind in all the comments. This let Cloud Dance that eye's bottom flashed a cold and sharp streamer. However, sitting beside her, Long Qingxia was indifferent. Holding the chopsticks, he ordered the dishes for Yunwu first. His voice was hoarse and he said, Eat. This man, he did it on purpose. Looking at the man's deep black eyes, Cloud Dance in the cold eyes, suddenly flashed a smile. I don't quite understand his intention. But he also picked up his chopsticks and gave him a piece of meat. You are really disfigured. When Liuzi looked at the dragon's face, he was stunned for a few seconds, and then said something subconsciously. But he seems to be an idiot. Long Shizi is another well-known waste in addition to the waste of Miss Yun Jiajiu. It's not only easy to be destroyed, but also broken. At the beginning, when the emperor of the Zhou dynasty decided to marry them, It can be said that no one in the whole Zhou dynasty knew it. For a long time, it was a joke that people mocked. Chief, don't you see that? The dragon pours its evil, and its mouth is slightly raised. I saw that his burned face because of that smile and twisted wrinkled together, extremely ugly. It seems that Yunqi did not expect that the face under the perennial black veil of Dragon 3 was so severely burned. Almost none of them was flat, but all of them were potholes. Even half of the lips were burned. That week, Batian gave Cloud dance to him, which obviously embarrassed their Cloud family and wronged his granddaughter. Although Yunqi has heard of the appearance of Longsan, he has never seen it. Now with this view, a faint anger rises in his heart. Even if his granddaughter is a waste, no matter how unhappy, it is also the blood descendants of their Cloud family. But the betrothed object is like this that Zhou Batian really deceived people too much. Seeing Yunqi's sinking face, it seems that his anger rises faintly. However, Long Qingxia's smile rises a little deeper. What he wants is really Yunqi's dissatisfaction with Zhou Batian. Because it won't be long. When he really appears in his true identity, it means that one day, it is very likely that the Cloud family will need to choose between the Cloud dance and the royal family. The Cloud family has been a general for generations, and their loyalty to the royal family of the Zhou dynasty can almost be obtained. I hope that one day in the future, they will not let Yunwu down in their choice. Damn, I'm not allowed to eat. I'm going to change tables. Little 2, roll over here, we need to change tables. At this time the next table, suddenly came a loud tap table sound. See only, a few young men. A face anger of stand up from the table. Angry voice up. The hall, which was still noisy, suddenly became silent. The line of sight toward that pats the table several people to look in the past. My guest, the shop is full. I really can't change tables. As soon as the second brother heard this, he rushed over and said respectfully to the young people. The head of a slightly fat man, grabbed the collar of the small 2. I don't care if you have a table. Anyway, change the table for us immediately, otherwise, let the people at the next table get out. That's to say, even if you look like this, it's intended to be a personal disgust. Several young people immediately disliked the agreement. As soon as he saw that it was Liuzi's table, he was in a dilemma. My guest, I'm really sorry. All the guests in the hotel are our distinguished guests in Juxian building. I really can't. However, before the second brother finished speaking, the fat man was impatient and left him. The second little brother didn't stand firm, and ran into the Cloud dancing table. That has not started the dish, suddenly bang, was knocked down next to a dish. Yunqi is not in a good mood at all. When she encounters this kind of thing, her face looks very ugly. Even the willow on one side was downcast. In this Lingcheng, the city where the Samurai Academy takes root, no one dares to smash the restaurant so arrogantly. These young people, it seems, have some eyes. I'm sorry, distinguished guests. I have something to say. I have something to say. As soon as the shopkeeper saw that the situation was not right, he immediately came over. At this time the guests are full. If you start, it will affect others, and the loss will be great. However, when the shopkeeper saw the willow in the corner, his face changed obviously. Immediately, he bowed to the willow and called respectfully, Tutor, Director. So you are here. I'm sorry to disturb your meal. See, that shopkeeper, a waste respectful call, immediately let the people in the hall at this time as a sign Lung. Tutor Director? Is that the Tutor Director of the Samurai Academy? At this time, it seems that many people noticed that the school uniform on Yunwu and Longqingxi seemed to be the school uniform of Shenwang Samurai College. All of a sudden, many people can't help looking at Liuzi. They begin to look at the Dragon 3 in their eyes, and gradually converge. If it's the director of the college, talk to the students. Who dares to offend those present without words and without reason? Even the young people who were just shouting at the table were stunned and looked at each other, as if they were worried about each other. However, the slightly fat man, in full view of the public, felt that he couldn't get off the stage. Shopkeeper, even if he is a tutor, he should not be so disgusting in public places. Your restaurant is a place to eat. Fat man's voice, also some loud like spread. Cloud Dancer listened, coldly stirred up a smile. Then you mean we don't like to eat? When the fat man heard this, he immediately swept to the clouds. When the line of sight swept to her body wearing a freshman badge of ordinary students, there was a trace of disdain in her eyes. I don't know if you're here for dinner, but since your friend looks like this, it's better not to be disgusting and frightening. That you're tuning in to the Li Mei's Wuxia Whispers YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support, and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.